from a sunny but windy and cool Husky Stadium in Seattle. It's the University of Washington Huskies against the Cougars of Washington State in a game everybody's calling the game of the year in the state of Washington. Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce King. We welcome you to an excited Husky Stadium in Seattle on the shores of Lake Washington, where today, while the Washington State Cougars take on the Huskies of the University of Washington, and you know it's all on the line today. They're not only playing for the Apple Cup, but also they are playing for a trip to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena on New Year's Day. We'd like to welcome our viewers from across the state of Washington to our broadcast from Husky Stadium today, and those east of the mountains at KXLY in Spokane. We welcome all of you, and we hope you enjoy it. You know, Washington State, 8-1-1 on the year. If they win today and beat Washington, they automatically go to the Rose Bowl. They haven't been there in 51 years. If Washington defeats Washington State today, and in Los Angeles, if USC beats UCLA, and we'll have highlights of that game for you during the broadcast of our game, then Washington will go to the Rose Bowl for the second year in a row. You can hear the excitement in the background. We're excited about it, and the guy who's been working with us all week getting ready for this football game is Harry Sloan. And Harry, you have been to both campuses. You've talked to the players. You've talked to the coaches. What's the feeling now about this being the biggest game ever?
Well, I tell you, going to those campuses was an interesting thing. They drove me crazy. They got me as pumped up as they were. But it's interesting, first of all, with the Huskies, that how much they reflect their head coach. They have a quiet intensity about them. They are confident coming into this game. They have been here before. They have been in a situation with the Rose Bowl on the line before, and they know what to do. They also know that they are up against one heck of a football team in the Washington State Cougars, that they have proved that this year, and it should be a great battle. You would think with the Cougars not being able to beat the Huskies in the past 7 years, and with the potential of the Rose Bowl the first time in 51 years, that they might be a little uptight, but they are not. They are loose, and they are ready. Put yourself in the seniors' position on the Washington State team. They have gone through the losing seasons while they got their act together. It is together now. They know they have the horses to do what they get the job accomplished, to beat those Washington Huskies, and they're just itching to get out on the field today.
If you've been waiting 51 years to get to the Rose Bowl and you have a chance, you know that today is going to be the day that you're going to put it all out.
Let it all hang out. Free safety Paul Sorensen of the Washington State Cougars, I asked him, with so much hanging on the line, is there a chance that you would, you know, kind of grip in a little and not be ready and not play the game that you're capable of playing? Because you haven't been in this situation before. He said simply, well, it's like a kid in an ice cream store the first time he goes in. It doesn't take him too long to figure it out. So it's going to be quite a battle.
Oh, it will. And we'll be back with a preview of Washington and Washington State right after this.
Look what $29.95 could buy you today.
Welcome back to Husky Stadium, where we are just 25 minutes away from kickoff. Both teams on the field right now. The Washington State Cougars, the Cinderella team of the Pac-10 this year. They are the only team coming into today's contest with the chance to control their own fate. A win today, and they are in Pasadena on New Year's Day. It's for all the roses. 51 years since this team has been to the Rose Bowl, but they are ready. These players have been with Jim Walden now for 4 years. It's been some kind of year for the Washington State Cougars. Let's take a look. Washington State, the serene campus located in the heart of the Palouse, all of a sudden rocked by a red-hot football team. Now the bookstore sells more than just learning materials, T-shirts that boast of Cougar victories and other paraphernalia noting the rise in Cougar football fortunes. What a season it's been, 8-1-1. The Cougars found out just what kind of a team they were 2 games into the season, trailing Colorado 10-0 in the fourth quarter, only to pull out a 14-10 victory. Paul Sorensen picking up a blocked punt and running 43 yards for the winning score. The following week, their first Pac-10 game of the year, the Arizona State Sun Devils. The double quarterback system, Ricky Turner and Clete Casper in high gear now. First Turner to Terrence Jones, and then Casper to Jeff Poppy. The Cougars pull the game out with a Kevin Morris field goal. The Cougars remain undefeated with a 24-21 win. The Cougars breeze by Pacific and Oregon State, and then the big matchup with UCLA before 40,000 in Pullman. As hard-hitting a game as the Cougars had all year. Again, it's Morris to the rescue as he kicks the tying field goal. This tie and a loss to USC, the only blemishes on the Cougar record this year.
Our fans have had 10 glorious weeks. Maybe one wasn't so glorious. I'm a little upset about that one. But I'm talking as a season. The nation has become aware of a cupcake becoming hard bread. everything in my heart that I could have hoped to accomplish, I shouldn't say that, everything in my heart that our players have helped us accomplish has been done. So I don't think not going to the Rose Bowl or even going will do a heck of a lot more, except make it festive.
The players look at it a little differently. If their practice is any indication, they don't want to be home for Christmas. 51 years is a long time to be without a bowl, and 7 years is a long time not to beat the Huskies.
We're just pumped. We've been psyched for 3 years to be in a game of this importance. And it's really fun, is what it all boils down to.
Now, you've been looking at films of the Husky defense, the defense that is ranked #1 in the Pac-10 right now. What do you think? How do you attack it?
Well, we attack them with our basic stuff, same stuff we've been doing all year. We felt we can move the ball against everybody we've played.
Tailback Tim Harris needs only 37 yards to become the Cougars' all-time leading rusher, despite being only a junior. He doesn't fear the Huskies' top-rated defense.
We played against Oregon a couple of weeks ago. They had the #1 defense, and we ended up scoring 39 points on them. So I don't know if it's going to happen this week the same way, but I don't think nobody can stop our offense right now the way we're rolling.
Defensively, the Cougars lead the Pac-10 in interceptions. Free safety Paul Sorensen knows the Huskies rank second to last in offense, but he's still concerned.
They're in the Pac-10. They don't have to be. They have a super defense, great special teams, and, you know, that gives them the opportunity to get the ball in good field position. And when you ever do that, you don't have to have the greatest offense in the world to score. You just have to get the points on the board.
So what does that mean for you as far as a defense is concerned? Does that mean you're a little worried, or?
Oh, yes. We cannot let them have the cheap plays. We have to make sure that they earn everything and make it as tough as possible for them to get in the end zone if they do get good field position.
As far as the defensive line is concerned, can the Cougars control the trenches?
We've gone against big, strong, mobile people all year, so it's really nothing new. We just get ready for them like we have any other team. They're not, they didn't start last year, a lot of them. They're a lot of new people, but they're still very good, and we're just, getting ready for them because they come off really well off the line, and we're just getting ready to play heads-up football with them.
This isn't the first time these two teams have met for the Rose Bowl. In 1936, both were ranked in the first ever Associated Press Top 20. The winner of that game was Rose Bowl bound no matter what happened elsewhere. Husky Stadium held 40,000 then, and every seat was filled. The Cougars had been considered one of the top defensive teams on the coast, allowing just 49 points in 8 games. Their record was 6-1-1. But they'd been hit hard by injuries, and the Huskies took advantage. A tailback named Al Kruger scored 3 touchdowns. Fullback Haynes scored 2 and threw for another as Washington won that game 40-0. And somehow I don't think that today's score will be that lopsided. We do have an update from Los Angeles in the first quarter of play down there. USC just kicked a field goal, and they lead the UCLA Bruins by a score of 3-0. This is the 74th time these two teams have met. It is as hard a fought rivalry as there is in college football today. And we'll be back to look at the Washington Huskies after this timeout. Here at Husky Stadium, both teams have returned to the locker room to begin final preparations for today's game. The kickoff now just 18 minutes away. The Washington Huskies, a team that's had an up and down year this year, a year of ups and downs, but they have won the games that they have had to win. Let's look at the Washington Huskies. The Huskies had to come from behind to beat Cal, way behind, as the Bears built a 21-0 lead in the third quarter. But the Washington defense dug in, forced a fumble or two, and the offense took it from there. Sophomore tailback Cookie Jackson set up the go-ahead touchdown with a 41-yard run. Sterling Hines scored it from 10 yards out. Still, it took a 21-yard Chuck Nelson field goal with 11 seconds left to win it for the Huskies, 27-26. There followed wins over Oregon State and Texas Tech. Then the Huskies buried Stanford with a third-quarter explosion that started with a blocked punt by sophomore Jim Rogers. Washington scored 4 touchdowns in a little over 3 minutes, thanks to a Stanford fumble, a pass interception, and a 71-yard punt return by Anthony Ellen. The final count was 42-25. A lopsided loss to UCLA a week later left the Huskies long shots for the Rose Bowl, but they got right back into the picture with a stunning upset of Southern Cal last week. Marcus Allen did get his career rushing record, but the Huskies defense held the Trojan offense to a single field goal on a wet and windy day in Seattle. Chuck Nelson again was Mr. Clutch for Washington. He nailed a 46-yard field goal with 2:19 to go to put the Huskies ahead. They recovered Nelson's kickoff for a touchdown to make the score 13-3 and set up today's Rose Bowl showdown. And now, Husky head coach Don James has the November 21st game he's always envisioned.
We in football and sports fans around the country get a little bit discouraged sometimes that November 21st each year, it seems like the big game is always Columbus, Ohio, or maybe Tuscaloosa, or maybe L.A. And it's just nice that someplace in the state of Washington there's going to be a game that's going to be of equal importance.
James expected his defense to play well this year. They lead the Pac-10 in that department. He is surprised, though, by the lack of productivity of his offense. It is on them that today's game depends.
I don't think we're at the stage in the season where we can say we're young and we're inexperienced, so we've just got to go out and try to win the game with offense as well as defense. I think this is one time that it's not, you know, no one side is going to win it. I don't think our kicking game or just the offense. I think we're going to have to play very well in the offense, defense, and kicking game.
Sophomore cornerback Steve Pelluer, though his offense ranks next to last in the Pac-10, has progressed to the point where he feels he can move his team on a consistent basis.
I think we've learned a lot. I think we've gained a lot of experience, and, you know, I think it's good as time as ever.
Senior offensive guard Boots Carter echoes those sentiments and had this to say about the mood of the Huskies coming into today's game.
It's exciting. Well, after the UCLA game, we figured we was in the same position we was going into the UCLA game. But now we figure we have one opportunity, one last shot, so we better go out and give it all. And it's very exciting. Everybody around here is excited to play Washington State because they have such a great team. And we have a tremendous amount of respect for them this year because they've shown everybody in the country what they can do.
Defensively, co-captain Fletcher Jenkins has led an attack that has been #1 against the run in conference play, #3 against the pass. He is not underestimating his opponent, though.
We respect the Cougars. We know they have a high-powered offense, and we just got to, you know, go into practice just thinking, you know, we got to work on the option, you know, and respect their quarterbacks and the people that they have in good positions that do such a good job.
So how do you stop a team that averages 410 yards a game, operates out of the Houston Veer, and utilizes 2 different quarterbacks who can burn you on any given down?
The main thing is we want to stop their big plays. That's what they've been hurting people all year on, is just breaking the big plays, either Cleat passing the ball deep or Tim Harris breaking the option. But it's just getting down to taking it play by play, you know, and part by part, making sure they don't run the dive, and then getting out to the quarterback and making sure he doesn't tuck up the ball, and then getting out to pitch. But it's just discipline, basically.
Discipline, something that could be very hard to come by today with so much riding on the line. There you have it, a look at the Washington Huskies, the Washington State Cougars. The Huskies a slight 2-point favorite going into today's game, but in a cross-state rivalry, anything can happen. Bruce King and Jim Owens will return after this timeout to tell you more about it.
You see the Evergreen Point Bridge leading into the University of Washington across Lake Washington. You see where the traffic problem is there. We're getting down to near kickoff time. It's only about 10 minutes away, and some of those fans are going to be a little late getting in here because there's a crowd anticipated to be over 60,000 today to watch Washington and Washington State battle here for the Apple Cup, and as you know, a trip to Pasadena on New Year's Day. Some of the crowd here could be the largest crowd in University of Washington history because the place has been sold out for a month. You can't buy a ticket to get in here today, and for good reason, because you all know if Washington State wins today, they will go to the Rose Bowl for the first time in 51 years. If Washington wins and if USC defeats UCLA, it will be Washington in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. A lot of Cougar and a lot of Husky fans on hand today to watch what we anticipate to be just a great, great football game. To bring you up to date in a couple of scores, that's the Husky band out on the field right now. They're playing Apple Blossom Time, and that's very appropriate, I think. The Husky band, the Cougar band, both entertaining the fans here at Husky Stadium in the pregame activities as we get ready to go. Now, we'd mentioned scores from Los Angeles. USC leads UCLA by a score of 3-0 in the first quarter. From the Big Ten, Ohio State defeated Michigan today 14-9, knocking the Wolverines out of a chance to go to the Rose Bowl. Now, Ohio State still has a chance if Michigan State defeats Iowa. But Iowa leads Michigan State 16-7 at the half in that ball game. And if Iowa wins, well, then Iowa will go to the Rose Bowl. So it looks now like it will be Iowa if USC continues in that ball game and defeats UCLA, then it will be either Washington State against Iowa in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day in Pasadena. And working with me today, a guy who has been to the Pasadena, to the Rose Bowl 3 occasions, watched this football team at the University of Washington under Don James go to the Rose Bowl a couple of times. Jim Owens. Jimmy, great to see you again.
Bruce, it's great to be here. What a day and what a ball game we're going to see.
Isn't this something? Now, you have been in 18 of these as the head coach at Washington for 18 years. Is there any special feeling for a Washington State football game?
Oh, there's always a special feeling, and I don't think there's been one exactly like this because of the situation the Cougars are in, but we've had on several occasions we had to defeat the Cougars in order to go to the Rose Bowl, so it's been at least one half that side. But today we see both teams right there, their own destiny, and again, I can't remember the crowd this early before the kickoff being this excited, and all the students that were here 2 and 3 hours before the ball game all ready to go and raring, and it's going to be something.
Now let's talk a little bit about the weather here today. As you look down on the field, that's the Cougar mascot. Let's talk a little bit about the weather. Woke up this morning, it was lovely here in Seattle. Sunshiny, temperature about 49 degrees, looked like it was going to be a perfect day. Then all at once, the clouds came in, it started to rain about 10:45. We had a heck of a shower here, about an hour ago, and the field is wet, and it's beginning to cloud up again. Looks like we're going to have more showers, gusty wind here this afternoon. Which team will that affect? Now, will that be to the advantage of Washington or Washington State, do you think?
I think it has to be the advantage of the Huskies. We've practiced in this weather more. Washington State...
Now, wait a minute. You're getting back to the we and us's again.
That's right. Well, I'll be the only time I'll say we because I'm on this side of the state.
That's right. Okay.
But the Cougars will pitch the ball around a little bit more. Right now, the ball is dry. They practice both teams very well in pregame on their passing and receiving. So if the weather stays this way, I don't see any advantage one way or the other. We do get some more rain showers, a lot of wind. I do think that the Huskies will have a slight advantage.
Now you look at the Houston Veer of Washington State. I know they went down to Arkansas a few years ago and just picked that whole thing up and turned it into a heck of a program for them, a heck of an offense for them, and they're running it very, very well. The key now to stopping that Houston Veer, is it the dive? You have to stop the fullback up the middle and the quarterback keeps? Is that it?
Really do. The way that the Cougars are running it, they really count on that inside handoff, the quarterback giving to either one of the backs, and that has to freeze the inside people. If they're able to do that and also freeze the linebackers, then that opens up the outside.
Okay, and we're going to be back with more pregame activity right after this. The Cougars have taken the field here at Husky Stadium in Seattle. The crowd on their feet, the Cougar fans on their feet to watch the Huskies and the Washington State Cougars go at it. Oh, should be some kind of football game, as we have been saying. It's very difficult not to be excited here today because the Huskies and the Cougars, when they go on the field to play in the final game of the year, as you know, anything could happen. So it's just going to be some kind of football game. The winner of this game will go to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena if USC defeats UCLA. Now, that's all Washington has to worry about, Jim. But as you know, if Washington State wins today, they're going to go to Pasadena. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of Cougar fans think that that's going to happen.
Well, this is the most Cougars that we've ever seen at a Washington State ball game, and certainly the noisiest. And I know how proud they are of their ball club. And this is their year. This is the time that they have the opportunity to go to the Rose Bowl, and they're going to put up their best effort, that's for sure.
Now, we talked about keys in the ball game. We talked about the battle up the middle. You know, Lynn Matson against Steve Sebahar. And Sebahar, the center, as the Huskies take the field right now, and you may not be able to hear us. We'll pick up some of the noise. We'll talk about that in just a moment. One of the keys could be Lynn Matson, the sophomore from Vesta, California for Washington at the nose guard position, trying to take on Sebahar, the big center for Washington State. And again, if they can neutralize that up the middle as we talked about, then there's a chance that they could control that Houston Veer.
That's right. I think as the audience watches the ball game, you normally are watching the ball and the backs, but the battle up front is really a critical one. It always is, but particularly today because of the tremendous pressure that Washington State will put on Washington's linebackers and their cornerbacks to the outside. So this will be a real matchup at every position, but particularly the inside is where it starts.
Husky Cougar captains out in the center of the field, as you see right now for Washington State. Their captains are Pat Beach, Mark McKay, Paul Sorensen, and Mike Walker. And for Washington, Carter Colby, Fletcher Jenkins, and Mark Giroux. The officials for today's game, the referee, Dave Kamansky, working with Jimmy Coyle, Bob Zelenka, Clyde Sale, James Scott, William Thayer, and Thomas Sifferman. We'll have the flip of the coin coming up right now.
And Giroux. Gentlemen, shake hands. Come on in, shake hands. Get over here and shake hands.
The ball in the air, or I should say the coin in the air, right? Washington won the toss. And we'll see exactly what they're going to do. The Huskies win the toss. They point to our right, which is the open end of the field. Breeze blowing off Lake Washington. Now what they have elected to do is defend the goal to the right, which is the open end of the stadium, so Washington State will receive. So the Huskies, with the wind at their back, are going to force the Cougars to go into the wind here in the first quarter.
Well, that's an interesting decision, and one I certainly agree with, because the wind and the AstroTurf being wet, the defense that Washington has played this year, they're going to give the Cougars the opportunity the first time down in their end of the field to see what they can do against the Husky offense.
So kicking it off for Washington will be Chuck Nelson as the Huskies gather around their coach. You see the Cougars gathering around theirs on the field just below us. Over 60,000 on hand here at Husky Stadium this afternoon for the Apple Cup, but much, much more, as we've been talking about all day, because the Rose Bowl is on the line right now. Washington State breaking the huddle, and they will receive. Now they go back to talk it over one more time. The Huskies gathered around Chuck Nelson back at the 35-yard line, off to the right. The Huskies defending the goal to our right, so the wind's going to be at their back, and the Cougars, well, the wind is going to be right in their face. The Huskies, you know, have won 47 times in the 73 times that this game has been played. Washington State 20, and there have been 6 ties in the game. The biggest win for Washington, 45-0 in 1914. The biggest win for Washington State, 52-26 in 1973. And Jim Owens, you remember that very well, because it was right here at Husky Stadium, and you were coaching for the Huskies then.
That's true. That's kind of a score you never forget.
Huskies have won 7 in a row. Don James has never lost to a Washington State football team. In this game, Cameron Mitchell standing back on the goal line as Chuck Nelson gets ready to kick it off for Washington. Nelson, one of the outstanding kickers in the Pac-10, and you can bet that Nelson's going to put it into the end zone, because he has a very, very strong leg.
He does have a fine kicking leg, and with the wind behind him, I think if he kicks like he normally has been kicking this year, it'll definitely go into the end zone, and I think that's what they anticipate, so that they can start the Cougars on the 20-yard line.
A lot of the crowd on their feet here at Husky Stadium now as we get set to go. Washington against Washington State. The Pac-10 Conference Championship on the line today. Chuck Nelson to kick it. He approaches the football, and here we go. It is a high end-over-end kick. It will go about 8 yards deep in the end zone, and Cameron Mitchell will down it there. So the Cougars will put it in play on their own 20. And for Washington State, as they get set to go on their own 20, they'll go, as you know, with their fine junior quarterback, Clete Casper, to run the attack. He's 6'3", 192, and he is the junior out of Issaquah. Good shot down now of the Huskies and the Cougars as they gather and get ready to go. Also in the backfield will be Timmy Harris and Robert Williams as they come up to the line of scrimmage for the first time. Casper to run his team. We'll get to the defense in just a moment. Escalera and Keller split out wide to the right. First and 10 on the 20. First play of the ball game. Casper back to throw. Looks over the side. It's going to be complete to Escalera at the 25 and knocked out of bounds at just short of the 25. Give him 5 on the play. Make it 2nd and 5. Billy Stapleton from the right corner making the play. Escalera this year has 15 catches coming into the game. Give him 16 right now.
Well, that's one of their favorite formations. The Cougars like to split 2 receivers out on one side, and they started right off with it on that first play for a completion.
Escalera, the flanker, goes wide to the left. 2nd and 5 now for Washington. Casper turns, hands the ball over the center to Harris, and he dives over the right side. It's going to pick up about 3. Going to be short of the first down, about 2 yards. Timmy Harris, you know, only 37 yards from breaking Kenny Granberry's all-time rushing record at Washington State. So now comes up the first big 3rd down play of the ball game.
Well, that dive that they ran is one of their favorite plays. They might even come right back with that. It's been a great ground gainer for them all year, and they're Also very close to their season record as far as total team offense. It's close, but it looks like they made it. Stapleton played him pretty loose that time over on the right corner, and it was an excellent pass, a nice route that was run, and you see them move the yard markers again for another big first down.
So the Cougars on the move, pick up their second first down of the ball game. 1st and 10 for Washington State on their own 45. Cougars moving from our left to our right toward the open end of Husky Stadium. Split backs are Williams and Bowens in the ball game now. Handoff over the right side. Diving straight ahead is Williams, and he goes across midfield and goes into Washington State territory, Washington territory for the first time. They're going to mark it. They're going to say that his knee hit at the 49, so he's going to pick up about 4, make it 2nd and 6 for the Huskies. Offensively for Washington State, Clete Casper, as we'd mentioned, a quarterback. Timmy Harris and Robert Williams, a running back. Escalera and Keller are the wide receivers. Cougars already a couple of first downs. 2nd and make it 6 at the 49, the Cougar 49. Dive straight ahead by Harris, hit by the middle of the defensive line for the Huskies. Kadich is in there in the play, along with Fletcher Jenkins and Lynn Matson. We talked about, Jim, that could be the key maybe to this ball game. Offensive line for Washington State, Flegger at left tackle, McKay, Sebahar, Patrick, and Sloan across the line, with Pat Beach the tight end. Well, Beach considered one of the fine offensive players and big men on the West Coast this year and in college football. 2 wide receivers split out wide to the right. Second big third down of the ball game. 3rd and 4. Draw play over the middle. Fighting for yardage, Timmy Harris, but the Cougars are going to come up short as the Husky defensive line comes in and knocks him down. Making the play is Ray Kadich from the right defensive tackle position for Washington.
Well, that was an interesting drive on the part of the Cougars. Here we see the play again. They come back with the draw to Harris. They had set up in the straight pocket protection, and between the dives on the inside and the passes to the outside sidelines, that was a very good call, I thought, to draw.
Tim Davey back to punt for Washington State, standing on his own 39. Ray Horton for the Huskies back on his own 10. Punting into the wind, gets it away. Pretty good rush. Ball's going to bounce at the 15. Horton's going to finally grab it at the 8. Tries to break the tackle. It's going to be buried back there. Ray Horton buried back at the 8-yard line. They'll mark his forward progress to near the 9. Well, they might even give him the 10-yard line. 1st and 10 for Washington there. So the Huskies with the football for the first time this afternoon against the Cougars. Cougars come out, pick up a couple of first downs. No score in the ball game, just underway at Husky Stadium. 11 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. Washington huddling back near the goal line. So we'll see what in the world this Husky offense can do right now. Huskies to the line of scrimmage. Steve Pelor at quarterback. Chris James at fullback, and Sterling Hines is the tailback. Hand over the left side to Hines. Make it James, and he dives over the left. He's going to pick up, about 4. Make it 2nd and 6 there. Chris James, the fullback. He's 5'11", 223, the junior out of Lakes High School in Tacoma. Averaging almost 4 yards a carry this year. 2nd and 7.
That was a good play to start off with, Bruce, for the Huskies, because it was conservative and they don't want to do too much ball handling back there, but now they have some room to operate.
Hand off to the tailback, Hines, over the left side. Hines is going to move it out across the 15, and it's going to be short of the first down by about 3 yards. So make it now 3rd and 3 for Washington. The ball out near the 18. Cougars defensively across the line will be Collins, Alicera, and Walker, with the linebackers Emil Elkington, Brent White, and Blakely.
Every third down situation is a critical one, but particularly early in the ball game, you like to get that first down. It gives your offense a lot of Some movement there on the part of the Cougars.
The Cougars jump off the line, over the line, and they're pointing at Pelor, and they're saying that he probably moved the head, moved his body in some way, and drew them offside. The referee is saying no, and the penalty will be against Washington. So it'll be a first down for Washington. They'll move the ball over the 20, out to the 23. So the Huskies will put it in play. There's still some discussion going on, and you know Washington will come up and do that on a number of occasions on third down. Delay the count, a little off count or something like that.
Yes, that's good strategy. It's awfully hard for the defense when you get kind of a rhythm going. It's a little early in the game for the Cougars to really recognize the Husky count, but it's very effective when you do that.
On the 22.
You'll see the jump right there. As Pelor begins to move away, well, maybe the Cougars had something to say about that, because they could have pulled them off just a little bit.
It looked to me like there was movement by the part of the Cougars before the ball was snapped, and if they crossed the line first and made contact with, then
first and 10 for Washington at the 22. Back to Pelor. He's going to throw. Rolls to his right. Throws over the middle. In and out of the hands of the intended receivers. You saw just past Paul Scansey and almost picked off by John S. West, the strong side safety.
That would have been a great interception. The ball was low, but he made a diving attempt for it, and it was thrown over Scansey's head.
Pelor completing 47% of his passes coming into this ball game. So the Huskies now 2nd and 10. The ball between the 22, 23-yard line. Let's call it the 22. 2nd and 10 there. No score in the ball game. 10:06 to play here in the first quarter from Seattle. Pelor, pitch out to the right side to Hines. Going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage and driven out of bounds back near the 20.
Very
fine defensive play by Blakeney from Washington State.
They certainly defensed that option well. That's a play that the Cougars run very well, and so the Huskies ran it at them and for a loss.
Offensively for Washington in the backfield, Pelor, Sterling Hines, and Chris James. Scansey and Aaron Williams, the wide receiver. 3rd now and 10, make it 11 for the Huskies. I formation. 52 defense for Washington State. 2 wide receivers split out wide to the left. Back to throw goes Pelor. Sets up at the 12. Throws deep and long. It's going to be in and out of the hands of Aaron Williams, incomplete. Williams up at the 40-yard line. Had enough yardage for the first down, but the ball was thrown a little bit high and in and out of his hand.
Yes, it looked like even if it had been completed, he might have been pulled out of bounds. It was just one of those real deep sideline cuts that have to be thrown perfectly. Pelor did have plenty of time. He had excellent protection time for the route to develop.
So back to kick for Washington. Jeff Partridge, the junior out of Tustin, California, averaging over 40 yards a kick, standing inside the 10 as you see. And Bill Gribble, the leading punt returner in the Pac-10 conference, back at the 35. He's going to take the ball back at the 32. He's going to be hit there, breaks the tackle, and then is really destroyed. Oh, what a hit by Chris James. Chris James just came down the field and just leveled it.
That was excellent coverage. The thing that made that go was the real high punt Partridge made, and it gave the Huskies time to get down there with excellent coverage.
Get good for 46 yards. The Cougars will have it for the 2nd time of the ball game now at their own 33. The Cougars moving toward the open end of the field here at Husky Stadium, moving directly into the wind. 1st and 10 there. Blake Casper brings his ball club to the line of scrimmage. Williams and Harris, the running backs. In motion to the left is Escalera. Throwing to the outside. Going to be complete at the 40-yard line, and a great catch there by Keller. Keller making the catch for Washington State out at the 40. He's going to pick up 7 yards. Stapleton making the defensive play for Washington.
It was really a fine catch because Stapleton was all over him that time. I thought it might be knocked down. He's certainly in position even for an interception, but Casper did a nice job of getting the ball in front.
2nd and 2 for the Cougars now. The ball just across the 40, as you see, nestled in the 41. Wide receivers left and right, Escalera and Keller. They get Cameron Mitchell in the ball game now. Handoff on a dive play over the left side, and it's good enough to pick up the first down is Tim Harris. So Harris moving over the left side to pick up the first down for the Cougars. That's their 3rd of the ball game. Ray Cattedge making the stop for Washington.
Well, we were right about them running those
Iowa
inside
leads
handoffs.
Michigan State 26-7 now in the 3rd quarter. So now you're looking at Iowa against possibly the winner of this game. If the Cougars go on to win it, they'll play Iowa in the Rose Bowl. So Iowa appears to be on its way to Pasadena. 1st and 10 for Washington State. 2 wide receivers to the left side. In motion is Cameron Mitchell. Back to throw is Casper. And on a keeper is hit as he gets back near the line of scrimmage and hit awfully hard by Ray Kadich. Kadich from Spokane really put a tackle that time on Cameron Mitchell.
Certainly did. Watch number 61. He plays around his blocker, and he's right there, and he really does pop Casper that time.
A loss of 1, make it now 2nd and 11 for the Cougars at that point on the field. They have the ball now at their own 44. Escalera comes back in the ball game along with Keller at the wide receiver spot for Washington State. Escalera split out wide to the right. Casper back to throw. Pretty good rush by Washington. Throws the ball. Going to be intercepted by the Huskies. Mark Stewart. Stewart still on his feet at the 40, at the 35, and going to be knocked out of bounds. Flag flag. Mark Stewart picking off the pass. Charlie Fleger is the guy who finally knocked him out of bounds. Here's the play again. Big rush from the outside, as you see right there.
The rush really did make that play. It was a nice position for Stewart to be in on the interception, but the tremendous pressure by the Husky rush that time made him throw the ball.
And Fleger was the man who knocked him out of bounds. UCLA leading USC 7-6 now in the first quarter in Los Angeles.
Boy, that's an interesting ball game down there too, isn't it?
There was a flag thrown, and it's probably going to be a clip. We'll see in just a second. The official standing at the 30. The Huskies moving back now. Mark Stewart coming up with the interception, his first of the year. He's 6'3", 227, the junior out of San Jose, California.
We have a dead ball. Clip. We had a clip against the Huskies. Dead ball. First down.
Dead ball clip against Washington, so they're going to move the ball now after they put the markers down all the way back to the Washington State 44. So it's going to bring up now 1st and 25 for the Huskies at that point. So the Huskies were the first big break of the ball game, up in the I formation. Vince Kobe now in at fullback for Washington, along with Sterling Hines, the I back.
Jim Pelur with a long count that time, hoping to get somebody outside.
He's going to be hit and buried back at midfield. Falls forward to the Cougar 49. Very made by Mike Walker.
Very fine coverage that time by the Cougar secondary, and Pelur just didn't have anyone to throw to. He had to eat the ball.
So they lose 5 on the play. Make it 2nd and 30 now for Washington. So the Huskies moving, I guess if you're a Husky fan, in the wrong way. Cougar defense playing very well.
The Huskies are happy to have possession, of course, but they certainly have a long way to go for a first down. They need a big, big play.
Scanzi in motion at the top of the screen. Back to throw is Pelur again. Looks over the middle, stops, looks again, has a man open. Scanzi and knocked away at the last minute on a fine defensive play by Kenny Emil. Kenny Emil, the 2-year letterman out of Lake Stevens, just got a hand on the ball and knocked it away from Scanzi because Scanzi was wide open.
Certainly looked from up here that he might have that reception. It was a crossing pattern, came from way on the other side of the field all the way across, and just tipped it out of his hands.
Pelur 0 for 3 so far in the ball game. 3rd and 30 for Washington. The ball on the Washington State 49. Scanzi split out wide to the right. Pelur play action, back to throw, looks. Throws to Aaron Williams, overshoots him down at the 15-yard line. Incomplete. It's going to bring up a 4th down for the Huskies. So the big break on the interception. The Cougar defense, with the help of a penalty, really holds and comes up with a great first down play, losing 5 and making it 2nd and 30 at that particular time, and forcing the Huskies to the air, and Washington unable to do anything.
That's exactly right. The Cougars, with the penalty, were able to play for the long yardage situation, and it pretty much dictated what the Huskies could do with their offensive calls. So that a big 15-yard penalty will certainly change your strategy in a hurry.
Partridge kicking the ball for Washington. Gebel standing back on the 10, calls for a fair catch. He's going to take it on the 11. So the Cougars will put it in play on their own 11. The 3rd time today. The Cougars with 3 first downs in the ball game so far. Kick good for 38 yards by the Huskies' Jeff Partridge. So Washington State not with the greatest field position right now, but they were able to move it after they got the ball in that first series of downs. A lot of excitement, as you know, in the air. We've been laughing about it and kidding about it because it's fun. It's just fun to be here. Cougars to the line of scrimmage. Two wide receivers split out wide to the left. Casper with a dive play and a handoff over the right side to Robert Williams. Loses the ball for just a moment. Gets it back again. Let's make it Tim Harris on the play. The leading Cougar rusher this year. Kenny Driscoll making the stop for Washington. Second and about 8 as he picks up a couple of yards, takes the ball out to the 13. Huskies defensively now across the line. They have Jenkins, Kadich, and Matson. Lynn Matson is the nose guard. Interesting story about him, and we'll talk about it in just a moment. Clete Casper, who is the junior from Issaquah. In motion, Cameron Mitchell to the left. Handoff over the left side. No, pitch to the outside. To Tim Harris. Breaks the tackle across the 20, still on his feet, and gets up to the 25 and picks up the first down. Stapleton and Horton coming up from the cornerback positions to make the play for Washington. Timmy Harris, 5'9", 193, is the junior from Compton, California, picks up the first down for Washington State. He's not a big guy, but I'll tell you, Jim, he can really run power football. He can run with the ball very well.
Good balance and a lot of power. Very strong legs. And they did fake the inside handoff and come outside. That's the first time they've come outside with it, and it was very effective.
Mitchell wide to the right. First and 10 for the Cougars at the 24. Pitch to the outside again. Spinning away is Robert Williams. He's knocked out of bounds by Stapleton after he picks up about 8 on the play.
Certainly a fine fake by Harris that time. He helped freeze everybody inside, and came out with that pitch.
So the ball moves up to the 32-yard line. Make it now 2nd and 8 for the Cougars there. It's beginning to cloud up even more here, and looks like we may have a little bit of rain. Some of the fans on hand. I'll tell you, this place is sold out, and the excitement in the air. The ball on the 32, the Washington State 32. Cougars moving. Handoff to Harris. Breaks the tackle, goes across the 35, and gets to the 36. Make it Williams to the 36. Robert Williams, 6'1", 196, the sophomore from Riverside, California, picks up the first down for Washington State. It is their 5th first down of the ball game, stopped by Chris O'Connor, the junior from Interlake High School in Bellevue. Cougars back to the line of scrimmage again. No score in the game. 5:37 to play here in the first quarter. Casper at quarterback. Back to throw. Pumps once. Goes deep down the sideline. Has a man there. It's complete in Washington territory at the 45-yard line. Paul Escalera making the catch. Escalera just inbounds. And did he just get a foot inbounds to make the catch? He did.
Yes, he did. Just a terrific catch. The ball was thrown high enough, and he could jump. We'll see here. The arch on it was just right because the Husky defender was right there. But watch him concentrate and hold on to that ball.
Excellent play. Escalera, 15 catches this year, given 17. He has 2 today. First and 10 now for the Cougars at the Washington 45.
Again, they
2 wide receivers, but wide to the right. That's Cameron Mitchell. In motion to the top of the screen. Handoff to Harris. He's going to be knocked up. No, the pitch to the outside. I'll tell you, he fooled everybody with that one. To Robin Williams, and Williams, or make it Matthews, picks up about 4 on the play, takes the ball to the 42. Clete Casper on that on the Houston veer on the option. He fakes to that inside man, and he brings the ball back and can pitch it, and it happens so quickly that you have to react. He's just trying to keep those linebackers inside.
Very hard to read, and it's giving the Husky defense a lot of problem.
2nd and 7 as he picks up 3. The ball at the 42. Casper back to throw. Time. Throws deep over the middle. Intended for Cameron Mitchell, and he makes... No, he knocked it away. I thought he made the catch of the year.
I did too. From our position, the ball was hidden, and I thought he had come up with a great circus catch.
Here it is again so you can see it. Ray Horton knocked the ball away. Watch this. Reaches inside.
He has it there for a minute, but it gets away. The official made a fine call there because the ball was loose as he came down. Now, if he had possession and it hit the ground with the ball and it had come out, of course, it would have been complete.
So another 3rd down play for Washington State. 4:41 to go. Here in the first half, no score at Husky Stadium between the Huskies and the Cougars. Crowd comes alive. Casper to the line of scrimmage.
Big play. They go with the
Takes
option.
inside the option. Casper on a keep and a fine play by Cattage. Ray Cattage making the defensive play for Washington. And he's the one-year letterman, the junior out of Spokane.
In his first quarter, he's had a very fine game. He's been in on 3 critical plays already. So number 61 showing up quite a bit.
Tim Davie in the kick for Washington State. The Husky defense rated number 1 against the run in the Pac-10 conference, and the number 1 defense in the conference. Stops the Cougars on this drive. Davie back to throw. Horton standing back near the goal line. The ball to the far side of the field is going to bounce, and the 15 go out of bounds inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. So the Huskies again very deep in their own territory. Jim Walden said before the game that he felt that this game would be decided by specialty teams in the kicking game. I'll tell you, if their punter continues to kick like that, if Washington State's punter continues to kick like that, it certainly could be decided that way, because one mistake now and it's great field position for the Cougars.
Oh, it is. And I think that the Huskies are going to have to get some first downs, move out from deep in their own end of the field, and we'll see coming up right here.
4:01 to go in the first quarter. Handoff to Jock Robinson in the ball game, the freshman from San Jose, and a tailback for the first time. And Robinson going over the right side. Picks up 7 yards. Make it 2nd and 3 now for the Huskies. The ball out at their own 14.
When you're calling plays or on that sideline, you get 7 yards on that first down when you're backed up. It's a real nice feeling.
Makes change, doesn't it? Whistle blows before the play could get underway, and the Huskies may have taken too much time. Brian DeFeo in the game now. DeFeo, rather. Breno DeFeo in the ball game along with Jock Robinson. The Huskies take too much time to get the play underway. It's going to cost them 5 yards. Going to move the ball now back to the 9-yard line. So the Huskies now facing 2nd and 9 back at their own 9. No score in the ball game.
On the Huskies. 2nd down.
3:31 to go here in the first quarter. No score in the game. Scansey split out wide to the left, and Aaron Williams to the right. I formation. And the up back in the I, standing back on the 2, and that's Jock Robinson. Steve Pallure out of Interlake, the quarterback for Washington. Sprint draw to Robinson across the 10 to the 15. Gets the first down and run out of bounds outside the 20 to the 21. Nate Bradley was the man who knocked him out of bounds for Washington State. Here's the play again. You see the old Washington sprint draw. The pet play of Washington. Jock Robinson runs for daylight and gets outside and picks up the first down at the 21. So it's 1st and 10 for Washington there. The Huskies picking up their initial first down of the ball game with 3:16 to play here in the first quarter from Husky Stadium in Seattle. Pallure at quarterback. Scansey split out wide to the left. Dive play over the center, handoff to DeFeo, and he dives straight ahead and goes up to the 25. Breno DeFeo, as you know, out of Kennedy High School in Seattle, 5'11", 196. He's the sophomore. So they have some youngsters in there. Steve Pallure, the sophomore at quarterback. The sophomore in DeFeo as the fullback, and Jock Robinson, only a freshman out of San Jose. You see a young backfield.
Certainly is. Coach James decided to go with his young backs here. Well, it's still the first quarter, and he had talked about using quite a few backs, and we've seen a lot of Husky backs all year.
And off to Robinson again over the right side on 2nd and 7. Hit just short of the 30, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and make it 3 for Washington at that point. No score in the game. Mike Walker making the defensive play for Washington State, and across the line for the Cougars, it is Collins, Elisera, and Walker. Linebackers are Emil Elkington, Blakeney, and Brent White. Cougars defensive group to the line of scrimmage now. Huskies facing a 3rd down. Pitch to Robinson over the right side. He's going to be hit at the 30. Falls ahead and picks up the first down. Oh, what a play by Jock Robinson.
Excellent second. Watch his second effort here. I didn't think he would be able to make it, but we're watching as he keeps his weight moving forward, keeps those shoulders down. Watch him. There's that red spot, and he actually moved his body on across for the first down.
Breno DeFeo making a fine block on the play to lead the play for Washington. So the Huskies have it now 1st and 10 at their own 32. They started back at the 8. 2:10 to go in the first quarter. No score here in Seattle. Scansey split out wide to the left. Aaron Williams to the right. I formation. Steve Pallure, the quarterback. 1st and 10 for Washington now. The 32. Fake inside. It's going to be hit once. Breaks the tackle. Here comes Pallure. He can run with the ball and then is just buried as he goes across the 34. John S. West in the helped defensively for Washington State on the play, and he's the guy who put the rush on Pelluer.
I think Pelluer did the right thing there. He saw that he had all that pressure on him and hadn't had a chance to see how his receivers were opening up, so he took advantage of it and scrambled the best that he could.
2nd and 9, picks up only a yard on the play. So the Huskies now facing 2nd and 9 as they try to move it from a right to a left toward the closed in at Husky Stadium. The fake, back to throw. Pelluer throws the ball low. It was intended for Willie Roseboro's tight end. 3rd and 9 for Washington now. The ball at the 32.
Well, that can happen to a quarterback. He just rushed it a little bit. He saw Roseboro open, and he just let it get away from him.
1:28 to go. As we get a score, 1:28 in the first quarter. Second quarter, USC 12 and UCLA 7. Oh, what a difference that would have on this ball game. One of these two teams would go to the Rose Bowl. Pelluer back to throw. Looks over the middle. Throws. Short and incomplete. Intended for Willie Roseboro. Cutting over the middle, and it's going to bring up 4th down, and the Huskies are going to have to kick it away again. Nate Bradley was the man back there defending for the Cougars in the play. You know, he leads the Pac-10 Conference in interceptions this year with 5. Jeff Partridge in the kick for Washington.
Well, on this last series, Bruce, the wide receivers were pretty well covered, and Pelluer was trying to get the ball to his tight end. They seem to be double covering on the outside.
Bill Gribble now drifts back for Washington State. The 25. That's Partridge on your screen now. High driving kick aided by the wind. Gribble's going to take it at the 21. Going to be hit at the 26 and just down there. Fine defensive play by Washington. By Greg, or make it Dave Trimble on the play. 46-yard kick. Trimble making the defensive play for the Huskies.
Well, again, the very high punt is the real difference. That's what any kicking team, when they have to kick the ball away, they hope that you can get not only distance, but particularly the height to give your team time to get down there and cover the way the Huskies cover.
1:14 to play here in the first quarter. Cougars to the line of scrimmage. Setbacks are Williams and Harris. Flanker split to the right. He's in motion now. That's Escalera. Casper going back to throw. Looks. Throws over the middle. Complete at the 39. They'll mark it at the 40. It's good enough for the first down to Jeff Keller. Second catch of the ball game for him.
Well, here we'll see this time Casper rolls out. It's a different type of pass than they run so far in the game, and he has a nice slot to throw the ball through there on the hook pattern. It's just a perfectly executed play. The Cougars ran that one just like you want to do it.
Leapart making the defensive play for Washington. 1st and 10 now for the Cougars at their own 40. Cameron Mitchell and Keller split to the left side of the field. That's Mitchell in motion to the right. Pitch to the outside to Harris. Tries to get away, but can't do it. And trying to get away there from the Huskies, Mark Stewart.
Stewart was there that time. They had the right defense called, and he was set to the outside for the pitch. And it was a good fake inside, but they just had him positioned in the right spot.
Loses a yard on the play. Make it 2nd and 11 now with 27 seconds to go here in the first quarter. No score between Washington and Washington State. Jamie White now comes in at tight end for the Cougars. That's Cameron Mitchell in motion to the top of the screen. Pitch to Harris. Harris going to be hit to the line of scrimmage and dives ahead to the 40. The play made by Chris O'Connor along with Kenny Driscoll.
Well, that was, again, the first time we've seen the quick pitch. We've seen the option pitch, but this time Casper just turned and on what you call a quick, sweep pitch, got the ball to the outside in a hurry.
That's the end of the first quarter from Husky Stadium. No score between the Huskies and the Cougars, and we'll be right back. Back to Husky Stadium in Seattle as you see no score between the Huskies and the Cougars at the end of one. So far offensively for Washington State, they've gained 44 yards rushing, 59 passing for a total of 103. They have 7 first downs in the ballgame so far. For the Huskies, 32 yards rushing. They have yet to complete a pass, and they have only 3 first downs. Cougars dominating play here in the first quarter. We'll check on Pat Beach to find out what in the world's wrong with him. Jamie White, the sophomore, has been in at tight end since early in the first quarter. Cougars to the line of scrimmage now. Casper calls signals, goes back to throw. Has time this time. Goes deep over the side. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver. And that's Keller. As the ball was knocked out of his hands at the 40-yard line. Ray Horton defensively along with Kenny Driscoll for the Huskies.
Well, that certainly looked like a completion.
We see a flag down on the field back near the 35-yard line. And as you...
Having some real deliberation out there with the officials. All of them are involved.
The call will be against Washington State on the play. We might mention right here Tony Caldwell for the Huskies has a strained knee and may not be back to play. Going to move the ball now back to the Washington State 17. Make it the 18-yard line. And we'll see what the call was.
We have a personal foul against the Cougars. 15 yards. It'll be 3rd down.
So you heard it there, a personal foul against the Cougars. So now it is 3rd and 25 for Washington State. The Cougars offensively now with Jamie White in the ball game along with Tim Harris and Robert Williams at the running backs. Clete Casper is still the quarterbacks, and across the offensive line, Flegger, McKay, Sebahar is the center, Patrick and Sloan. Third and 32. Casper back to throw. Rolling outside. Gets a block. Has time. Goes the other way. Big rush. Going to be hit at the 10. And buried back at the 10. Another play for Washington. Tony Caldwell. Check that. We have Caldwell out of the ball game. Lynn Matson in on the play for the Huskies along with Stuart Hill. There you see it again. Clete Casper trying to find somebody open down the field. Good defensive play by Washington because the defensive secondary was playing very well. Lynn Matson now and Stuart Hill in on the play. We'd mentioned that Tony Caldwell is out of the ball game. So back deep in his own end zone to kick now is Tim Davey. Huskies with 10 men up at the line of scrimmage. Ray Horton standing back in Washington territory at the 47. The kick underway. High kick taken by Horton. Bounces back. Tries to find some running room, and nothing is there as the Cougars cover it awfully well.
They sure did. Again, they had the high punt also, and
Dan Lynch in on the play, along with Ben Carrillo. Kick good for 44 yards. So Washington will put it in play the first time here in the second quarter. 14:02 to play.
And this is their best field position since the interception. With that penalty the Cougars received back on the previous series, even with the fine kick, it does give Washington excellent field position.
Don James, you see, he's concerned right now. No score in the ball game. Pitch to Jack Robinson, running to the outside. Has some going on. He's across midfield. Goes into Cougar territory and is going to be knocked out of bounds after picking up the first down at the Washington State 42. Paul Sorensen was the man who knocked him out of bounds.
That's the same play that the Cougars ran earlier. The quick pitch is received. The quarterback just turns and gets the ball to the back as soon as he can. Excellent block there by his fullback. And he's able to cut inside, and with enough speed goes out and around the Cougar defenders, and it's really the sideline that catches him.
And Sorensen was the man who got him out of bounds. 1st and 10 for Washington there. Handoff to James, tries to fight for some yardage, and he gets near the 40. He's going to pick up only a couple on the play. 13:47 to play here in the second quarter. No score between Washington and Washington State. Remember this, as Brenna DeFeo comes in at fullback. Remember this now, if Washington State wins, they automatically go to the Rose Bowl. But if Washington wins and USC wins today, then Washington will go. And they will play probably Iowa. Michigan knocked out of the Rose Bowl race by Ohio State earlier today in a game I'm sure a lot of you saw right here on this station. Back to throw. Pallure over the middle. It is complete to the tight end Willie Roseboro, and he gets down to the Cougar 30 and picks up the first down. So the Huskies on the move for the first time. Pallure completing his first pass of the ball game.
As we mentioned earlier, Bruce, they were trying to get the ball 2 other times to Roseboro, and this 3rd time it was successful. And they're just not going to be able to leave the tight end by himself. They're going to have to start covering him.
So he's now 1 of 7. Pallure is 1 of 7 in the ball game for 11 yards. First completed pass. Handoff to Robinson. Breaks the tackle. Still on his feet and slides down near the 25. So Jack Robinson, they call him the best running back, the best athlete as a freshman. You know, there was an article in the paper this week that said all he wanted to do was go to lead Washington to the Rose Bowl and win Heisman Trophy. Now, that's not too bad.
That's some pretty good goal setting.
That's right.
As a freshman, isn't it?
2nd and 6 for Washington now. The ball just short of the 25, the Cougar 25. First Washington drive of the ball game. I formation. Hand off to Robinson again. Finds daylight over the right side. Still on his feet and gets down inside the 20 to the 17. Make it the 16. He's going to pick up the first down.
This is really well executed offensive play. The line is blocking for him. He does have enough room to run.
Lee Blakeney makes the play for Washington State.
The left field position starting this drive up around the 45-yard line. They've now moved it down to the 22. This is Washington's best effort so far in the ball game offensively.
1st and 10 for Washington at the 16. Dive straight ahead to Breno DeFeo, the sophomore from Kennedy High School in Seattle. He picks up about a yard in the play. Make it 2nd and 9 at that point. Kenny Emel making the stop for Washington State, a 2-year letterman at a Lake Stevens High School.
Cougar interior has been real tough on those inside handoffs. They haven't given up much ground.
Husky offensive line, Moran, Carter, Cody, Zach Zorn, and Dow with Willie Roseborough, the tight end. 2nd and 9 now. Make it 2nd and 6, I'm sorry. Pitch to the outside is going to be to Robinson, and he's knocked out of bounds back near the 14-yard line.
Again, very similar to play that the Cougars have been so successful with. The reverse pivot by the quarterback and then the quick pitch.
Walker and White making the defensive play for Washington State. 11:29 to go in the second quarter. No score in the ball game between the Huskies and the Cougars. The Huskies lose a yard on the play, make it 3rd and 7. The ball now on the 14, the Washington State 14.
Boy, there's so much noise.
Scansey in motion. Big rush from the backside. And Kenny Emel, the outside linebacker, comes in to bury Steve Pallor back near the 20.
Here we go. Certainly a fine defensive call by the Cougar coaching staff, and it sent their outside man and just didn't have a blocker. The Huskies just didn't have someone blocking the backside on that particular play, and it was just exactly what the defensive coaches had hoped for.
Ball's going to be marked at the 23. Will attempt a field goal. Chuck Nelson will kick it. It'll be a 39-yard field goal from the center of the field. Chuck Nelson, as you know, 13 of 17. Steve Pallor will hold. The ball is down at the 29. The kick is up. It's long enough. It is good. So the Huskies on the scoreboard for the first time. So the score, University of Washington 3 and Washington State nothing on a 29-yard field goal. Make it a 39-yard field goal by Chuck Nelson, and we'll be right back. Play here in the second quarter to put Washington on top of Washington State 3-0. And the Huskies are set to kick it off. Robinson was a key man, Jock Robinson, in that drive as the Huskies moved 33 yards in 9 plays to pick up the 3 points. Robinson now has 50 yards and 8 carries for the Huskies in the ball game. Saw a score out of Los Angeles just a moment ago. It is UCLA 15, USC 12.
My, oh my, they're having one going back and forth, aren't they? Oh, looky here.
Huskies now set up like they're going to try an onside kick. He kicks it deep, and it's just a fake.
Into the corner.
The ball will go deep into the corner. It's going to be picked up by Junior Tulupa. He runs to the outside. It's going to be hit back at the 18-yard line and finally driven back to the 17.
Well, that was an interesting maneuver. Huskies at the last moment.
Junior Tupola was the man who caught the ball and tried to run it out of there. Vince Newsom making the stop for Washington.
Shifted about 9 of their people over to one side of the kicker.
What are you going to do in a play like that?
Well, you just hope that the kicker does kick it over in that left corner where they wanted him to, and Nelson's so accurate that he did put it there.
So the Cougars will put it in play. 1st and 10 at their own 18. They trail 3-0. Pat Beach back in the ball game now at tight end for Washington State. So Beach is back in the ball game. 3-0 in favor of Washington. 10:38 to play now here in the second quarter. Escalera in motion as the handoff goes to, although Casper's going to keep it himself, runs to the outside. He goes across the 30 to the 35 and picks up the first down. Good fake inside.
Watch this, Bruce. This is why the Cougars have been so explosive on their offense. A beautiful fake by the back, and as Casper comes outside, He had just about everyone fooled. They had a missed tackle there, and almost broke that one all the way.
Stuart Hill making the stop for Washington on the play as the Cougars pick up a first down out at the 37-yard line. First and 10 at the 37. 10:24 to go here in the second quarter. Huskies on top 3-0. Pitch to the outside to Matthews. Matthews is going to be hit as he gets to the 40.
Well, we have Casper down now. He was hit awfully hard. He and the back fake again that time. Harris, both were really had a collision with the Husky defense, and Casper is limping right now, but he just executed that play perfectly. He got the ball out just as he was really hit very hard.
He's limping off, as you see, and it appears to be his left knee or ankle as he moves toward the sideline. Ricky Turner comes in at quarterback. You know, Jim Walden goes with the two quarterbacks. It's a system I know that a lot of people don't agree with, but it's been extremely successful for Washington State this year.
Very successful. Ricky
Turner comes in for the injured Clete Casper, and as Casper gets to the sideline, he almost goes down. So Turner, 5'10", 161. He's the sophomore from Compton, California, comes into the ball game for Washington State. First appearance by Ricky Turner in the ball game. The running backs for Washington State right now, as you see, are Matthews and Harris. Turner rolling to his right, and he can really run with it. Pumps once, looks again, still on his feet. Good block, still going, still looking for somebody to throw to. Runs away from another man at the 45 and finally goes out of bounds at the 48-yard line. And is going to be very close to the first down.
Well, it didn't take him long to show what he does best, and that is scramble around. And everyone, let's watch this again.
Gary Patrick with an excellent block. And here he goes to the outside, just with his speed, is able to pick up the first down. Make it 1st and 10 now for Washington State. They're on the move. The ball now will be marked at the 48, move it to the 49-yard line. Halfway in between, 9:44 to go. The second quarter. Huskies on top 3-0. Al Bowens in the ball game now, along with James Matthews for Washington State. Ricky Turner at quarterback. Huskies lead at 3-0. Misdirection play. Pitch to the outside. Fumble. Ball loose, and I believe the Huskies recovered. The ball lost by James Matthews, and it's going to be picked up by Washington as they recover the fumble. Here you see it again.
The reverse pivot. Turner comes down the line. He gets the ball out in good shape. It's just a little bit in front of the back, and he was able to have one hand on it, but couldn't catch it with both hands.
Kenny Driscoll is the man who recovers it for Washington at the Washington State 44. Talk about a break in the ball game. The Cougars were on the move. The Huskies get a break there as the Cougars turn it over.
Well, we saw what field position did for the Huskies on their last possession. Let's see what they can do with this one. Two wide receivers, far left.
Huskies up in an I formation. DeFeo and Jack Robinson are the running backs. Hand off to Robinson. Hole over the left side. He coughs up the football. Picked up by Washington State. And the ball's going to be down at the 31. The ball hit the ground and he picked it up. The ball's down. Here it comes again. Robinson gets away from the tackle here. Big hole over the left side. And just gets the ball knocked away from him right there by the Cougars.
Paul Sorensen, their free safety, picked it up. He's quite an athlete, and he was very alert. Of course, the ball did bounce on the ground, but why not run with it? Somebody might not see it bounce.
Oh, no, if they don't see it bounce, you know, you got a big gainer right there.
That's right. Well, that's really a quick changeover from one fumble by one team and fumbled it right back to the Cougars.
Sorensen's the headhunter, you know, and he's the guy who picked it up. And he's a fired-up football player. Two wide receivers put out wide to the right. Ricky Turner, the quarterback. Casper was injured, and there's going to be movement in the line. A flag goes down. It's going to cost Washington State 5 yards.
Well, that was the Cougars' big tight end, Veach, number 8.
Here's another score. UCLA 18, Southern California 12.
Oh, boy, they have a tight ball game just like we do. They have more scoring than the Washington State game, but they're both going to be close.
As you know, if Washington wins this one and UCLA wins, then UCLA goes to the Rose Bowl. So everybody here has to be rooting for a USC win. Movement in the line again is going to cost them 5 yards. They tried to go in a quick count, and everybody was moving. So another 5 yards for Washington State. They had 1st and 15. It's going to be 1st and 20 if the Huskies take the penalty.
The Huskies have been moving around on defense, as we mentioned earlier. They've been shifting their defensive tackles inside and jumping the linebackers to the outside. And it's obviously become disconcerting to the Cougar offensive team.
That's the 4th penalty in the ball game, Jim, for the Cougars for 30 yards. The Huskies with only 2 for 20.
That's a dead ball foul, false start on the offense. Be a first down.
So here we go. 1st and 20 for Washington State after a couple of penalties. Move them back to the 21. Moving near the 22. Hand off to Matthews over the right side. I'll make it Martin who's in the ball game now over the right side, and he's going to take it out to near the 30.
Well, that's good, strong running. They ran a counter play. He faked that quick pitch that they run a couple of times and then came back with the inside handoff.
Cougars now make a change in their receivers. Beach comes back in the ball game. Escalera is there along with Jeff Keller. And it's now 2nd and 11 for the Cougars. The ball just across the 30-yard line. Harris back in the ball game. Turner looks, throws to the outside, and his intended receiver, who was Keller, fell down.
He wisely threw that one out of bounds, too, I think, because as he saw his receiver fall down, he dipped that ball pretty high.
Stapleton was back there along with Leapart defending for Washington. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 11 for the Cougars, who trail the Huskies 3-0 with 8:48 to play here in the 2nd quarter from Husky Stadium in Seattle. Raining just a few minutes ago, but the rain has ceased now. It's still cool, and the wind is blowing and gusting off the lake off to our right. So the Cougars at 3rd and 11. A long 10. Turner back to throw. Runs out of the pocket. Big rush. Throws to the outside. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver for Washington State. And that's going to be his running back, Mike Martin, the junior out of Tacoma, out of Clover Park High School. Here's Turner again. He loves to run the ball to the outside, and he said, you know, I don't want to be known as a running quarterback. I want to be known as a passing quarterback, but he can move in a hurry. Throws the ball. It's going to be in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Mike Martin, number 23.
Well, he's very dangerous, whether he rolls out or in that particular case, he set up on a pocket pass and didn't see anyone open and then scrambled. He is dangerous.
Tim Davey is back to kick. Huskies with 10 men on the line. The rush, they bump into the kicker. No penalty flag down because the defender knocked him into it. Huskies Ray Horton with the ball. He's across the 30, gets out to the 33. Before he stopped there, kick good for 41 yards. So the Cougars will put it in play with 8:30 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Huskies leading 3-0. So UCLA is leading in Los Angeles. You look at the Husky rally squad here. Washington is leading here. If that continues, it will be UCLA in the Rose Bowl. And they will play probably Iowa because Michigan knocked out of the Rose Bowl by Ohio State earlier today by a score of 14-9. I formation for the Huskies. And off to Jock Robinson. Spins away from a tackle and fights his way up across the 35 to the 37. He's going to pick up about 5 on the play, make it 2nd and 5 for Washington there.
Bruce, that's not too spectacular play, but when you can get 5 yards on your first call in your series, it does give the coaches that are calling the plays some real leeway here now on their 2nd down call.
Anthony Allen in the ball game for Washington now. Split backs, long count, 2nd and 6, the ball at the 37. Back to throw. The pass intended for Willie Rose-Berlin off his hands and incomplete. Now, I'm not going to get into that old cliche about hitting him in the wrong spot, but it hit him right in the hand.
Those quick slant out passes, you really have to have your eye on the ball in a hurry because it gets there and you're twisting at an angle, and any tight end that has to turn like that quickly, why, he really has to have his eyes on the ball from the very beginning.
Iowa now leads Michigan State 36-7 in the 4th quarter. So the Iowa Hawkeyes on their way to Pasadena, it appears right now. Huskies now face 3rd and 6. The ball at the 37. Hand off on the sprint draw to Jock Robinson. Fights his way up across the 40 and is going to pick up the first down. He gets the first down by about a yard. Blakeney making the stop for Washington State. He's the sophomore out of Concord, California. But the Huskies pick up the first down. Check the sideline again, looking for Clete Casper. He was injured a series ago and limped off the field. Be interesting to see whether he can get back in the ball game again. But the Huskies now with the first down. They're driving into the wind. Across the line for Washington, they have Aaron Williams and Anthony Allen in the ball game now, with Aaron Williams split out wide to the left and Allen on the right side. Pelluer, the quarterback, as the wind kicks up even more here at Husky Stadium. DeFeo and Jock Robinson are the running backs. Long count by Pelluer. Hand off to Robinson. He's going to pick up a couple of yards and takes the ball across the 45 to the 46. It's going to bring up now 2nd and 8 for Washington at the 46. 7:13 to play here in the second quarter. Washington leading Washington State by a score of 3-0. Here's the score out of Los Angeles at halftime. As you see, UCLA leading USC 18-12. A lot of people going into this game felt that USC would win that. They were a favorite to win. I formation for the Huskies on 2nd and 8. The ball at the Washington 46. Movement in the Washington line. The Cougars all point to it, and they say that's going to cost you 5 yards, and it will.
Well, the Cougars are certainly happy to see that. They had a couple of those, and now they want to trade back, get that 5 yards back that they lost earlier.
So it's a 5-yard penalty against Washington.
We have a dead ball, false start against the Huskies. Will be a 2nd down. What was the
2nd and 13 for Washington at that point. The ball now back at the 41. It's cooling down here in Seattle, but no one's leaving this one. Washington on top by a score of 3-0. I formation. In motion to the left is Aaron Williams. The sprint draw, and Jock Robinson fumbles the football, going to be recovered by Ken Emil of Washington State. In and out of his hands and gone. Here's the play again.
It's going to be the sprint draw, as you mentioned. It sets the ball in there. It just gets on his hip instead of having complete control. And when that happens, you're going to lose possession most of the time.
Kenny Emil, the 5'11", 210-pound junior from Lake Stevens High School, recovers the fumble, and all at once the Cougars now with excellent field position.
Great opportunity for Washington State to
Snohomish High School is what I should say. We stand corrected. Split backs for Washington State. They have Harris in the ball game. Fake to the first man through. Hand to Harris. Almost breaks a tackle. Trying to get away from Kenny Driscoll, but can't. And he's going to pick up 4 on the play. Make it 2nd and 6 now as they move the ball to the 41. 6:08 to play in the second quarter with the Huskies on top by a score of 3-0. Martin in the backfield as the whistle blows again, and I think they took too much time. That's Martin and Harris back there. And that's going to cost them 5 yards.
Those are really critical penalties. If that's the case, Cougars
no flag on the play, as you see. Okay. How can that happen, Jim?
I don't know. I don't understand that. Maybe the official blew the whistle early, or they weren't ready over on the sideline with the chains, and they just didn't want them to run the play.
T.J. Jones now in a ball game for Washington State. The wide receiver position, along with Cameron Mitchell. The running backs are Martin on the left and Harris on the right. Turner back to throw to the outside. It is complete to Cameron Mitchell. Slips as he tries to get away from the defender on that side. And that's Billy Stapleton along with Mark Giroux out helping out. He's going to pick up the first down. So the Cougars have the first down with 5:34 to go here in the second quarter and trailing by 3.
Turner certainly doesn't have to be thought of as strictly a running quarterback, because he set up nicely there and saw his receiver open and delivered the ball for just an excellent strike.
He completed 42 of 83 coming into this ball game. 1st and 10 for Washington State at the 30. Turner back to throw. Throws down the middle, has a man wide open, in and out of the hands of T.J. Jones. Oh, that was one of those that you'll go back to the drawing board and say, we've set that play up all year long, and they had him wide open.
Yeah, that not much you can say about that. It was the execution was there and just dropped it.
Jeff Keller comes back in the ball game, replacing T.J. Jones in the play.
I will say that there's a lot of wind blowing out there. The weather is changing rapidly. It's cloudy and the wind is kicked up.
Cougars with the wind to their back. Back to throw goes Turner. Big rush. Throws to the outside. It is complete to Keller. Keller is going to feed the 20. The 15 is going to be knocked out of bounds inside the 10 at the 6. So the Cougars have a first down goal to go at the 6. Kenny Driscoll knocked him out of bounds. Watch the play again, and Driscoll may have gotten a hold of the face mask in the play. He beats Ray Horton right here.
You see Horton let him get away, and Keller with his speed just able to get him out of bounds there. Short of the goal line.
No penalty. Apparently got a part of the helmet instead of the face mask. First down, goal to go for the Cougars. The ball at the 6, the Washington 6. The Cougars trail it 3-0. Ricky Turner looking over the defensive line for Washington. Running backs are Martin and Harris. Hand off to Martin, straight ahead. Touchdown,
Certainly not much doubt about this.
Look at that offensive line. They just opened the hole against the Huskies. They blew it right out and went into the end zone to score. McKay, Sebahar playing very well. Just opened the hole. So the Cougars now on top by a score of 6-3 with 5:05 to play here in the second quarter. Ward Leland in to kick the extra point. The junior out of Spokane. The ball down, a kick in the air. It is good. So 5:05 to play in the second quarter. It is now Washington State 7 and Washington 3, and we'll be right back. To score, Washington State 7, Washington 3. The Cougars move 44 yards in 5 plays. Martin, the 6-yard run to score for Washington State. So the Cougars on the scoreboard for the first time. They lead in this football game, and I'll tell you, if you're a Cougar fan, you have to be getting excited right now. Standing back on the goal line for Washington as the ball just blows off the tee. And they're going to have somebody hold it for Kevin Morris before he can kick it for Washington State. Anthony Allen and Aaron Williams standing back on the goal line. That's Anthony Allen out of Garfield. He's an outstanding kickoff and punt returner at Washington. Bring you up to date on some more scores here in just a moment. The wind now really gusting off Lake Washington, blowing at the back of Kevin Morris, who will kick it off. And the whistle blows again, just a moment. The referee down in the end zone blows the whistle again, and that's Dave Kamansky. He's going to walk over to the Washington bench. We'll see what in the world the call is going to be. It has cooled off here, and it looks like it's going to rain, and you need the heavy coats. There you see 44 yards in 5 plays. Took him 1:28 to score. Martin's 6-yard run after the fumble recovery, and the fumble by Jack Robinson, the freshman, recovered by Washington State's Kenny Emil to set all this thing up. So the Cougars, needing a break, get on the scoreboard and lead by a score of 7-3 with 5:05 to play in the second quarter. Washington State, an outstanding football team. You see now Dave Kamansky coming across to talk with Jimmy Walden as he talked with Don James on the other side, and we may have a problem with the clock. I don't know. That's about the only thing I can think of.
Me
is they're
too.
talking about the clock right here.
I think they went over and checked with a timer, and whether they lost some time or whether they want to add some, I think that's what they're talking about right now.
That apparently is settled. Again, a score out of Los Angeles at halftime. It's UCLA 18, USC 12. We'll keep you posted on that one. Earlier today, Ohio State knocked Michigan out of the Rose Bowl 14-9. And Iowa leading Michigan State 36-7 in the fourth quarter in that game. So if everything stays the same right now, Iowa will go to the Rose Bowl. The Cougars to kick it off. That Sorensen's going to hold. Morris will kick it. Deep for Washington, Anthony Allen and Aaron Williams. It will be Allen. He will take the ball at the goal line. Comes straight ahead. Behind a wedge of blockers. Going to be hit hard. Fine play by Joe Taylor. Oh, Joe Taylor came in and just leveled Anthony Allen.
He really did, because the Huskies looked like they had a pretty nice return set up. There was a little room to run with some blockers in front, and he just came from the side and made a great tackle.
A couple of scores for you. Indiana defeated Purdue today 20-17. Yale over Harvard 28-0. Syracuse over West Virginia 27-14. And Penn State defeated Notre Dame 24-21 in quite a football game.
That was a close one.
To the line of scrimmage, DeFeo at fullback, and Sterling Hines back in the ball game at the tailback position for Washington. Hand off to DeFeo, straight ahead, breaks the tackle, still on his feet, takes the ball out across the 20 to the 24. Big hole and just tough running by Breno DeFeo. John S. West was the man who made the stop for. There you see the final for Washington State. There you see the final. Well, that puts Iowa in the Rose Bowl. So if you're a Hawkeye fan, you're going to be in Pasadena on New Year's Day. Well, you played, not settled yet. Pitch back to Hines, running to the outside. Cougars cover it well, but he fights his way up to near the first down.
Looks like he made it. It's close.
You might have just been able to break that last tackle and pick up just enough to pick up the first down, as
Yes,
you
it
see.
is.
1st and 10 for Washington there. Mike Walker making the stop for Washington State on the play. Washington State 7, Washington 3. The Cougars in the season 8-1-1. They lead the Pac-10 conference. The Huskies 8-2 overall. 1st and 10 for Washington now. The ball at the 27-yard line. Handoff to Hines. Runs wide to his right. You see he has daylight. Can't get away from Sorensen, however, as he tries to get down the sideline. And he's going to be hit just short of the first down marker.
Well, the Huskies have elected here, as we see, to run the ball. They don't have a lot of time before the half, but they caught the Cougars loosening up a little bit, anticipating the pass, and they've had 3 straight running plays that have been very effective.
So just short of the first down. They're going to bring the chains in and measure. Jim, I think from our angle, we can't tell whether it's going to be a first down or not. 4:04 to play here in the second quarter, with the Cougars on top by a score of 7-3. Hines now 3 carries in the ball game coming into this play for 5 yards. Just short of the first down.
Looks like only about 2 or 3 inches. Very close.
So the Huskies will face 2nd and 1 now, with the ball marked at the 37-yard line, just over the 37.
Interesting call, because this is a situation where you can use a waist down, still think that you can get your first down when you just have an inch or so, and we might see something pretty spectacular here.
So the wind now begins to die down just a little. I think you keep looking at that flagpole. Now it gusts up again. Huskies with split backs. Running backs are DeFeo and Hines. Pelor still in at quarterback. Hand off over the left side to DeFeo. Spins away, ball loose, and I think they whistled it dead. The ball was whistled dead, and we'll play it back for you so you can see whether that was a fumble or not.
Officials are going to rule that he had grounded the ball before he lost possession. As you see, he turns here, he's on the ground, and then later on the ball rolls out.
So as he rolls over, the ball goes out. So it's going to be a first down for Washington. DeFeo takes it out with the 40 to the 42. A cool and cloudy day. We've had rain a couple of occasions here in the ball game so far. Hand off to Hines. Hines, big hole over the middle, but it closes in a hurry as he gets across the 45 up to the 47-yard line. He's going to pick up 5 on the play. Make it 2nd and 5. Now the ball at the 47. Mike Walker making the stop for Washington State on the play. 3:15 to play here in the second quarter. Washington State 7, Washington 3. The Cougars scoring on a 6-yard run by Martin. Sprint draw again, ball loose. Cougars are there, they'll recover. Washington State will get the ball back. Another key fumble recovery for Washington State. Sterling Hines giving up the football. Robinson gave it up before. Sorensen was the man in to recover the ball for the Cougars.
Sprint draw, he's hit there by number 34, who just knocks the ball right out of his hands.
That's Kenny Emil making the play for Washington State. Sorensen is there to recover, and that's the 3rd fumble and the 3rd turnover for the Huskies in the ball game.
Well, that's a dramatic change here just before halftime, because with the Cougars at midfield, they're in a position now to be able to open up and put some more points on the board. Here's the reverse.
The reverse goes to the outside.
Reverse pass.
He's not going to throw the football. Keeping the football and running it is Escalera, an ex-quarterback. And he can throw the ball, but the Huskies were back defensively. I think they were waiting for anything that Washington State was going to run that time. Escalera runs forward and picks up about 6 on the play. Make it 2nd and 4 now. Or rather 2nd and 3. Give them 7 on the play. The ball now moves just across the 45.
Well, that was a fine call, because that's the kind of play you like to run after a dramatic turnover. You are in good field position. You want to go for the big gainer in a hurry.
Turner back to throw. Throws to the outside. It is complete to Escalera, and he's going to be driven out of bounds by Ray Horton after he picks up the first down. Horton is in there for the Huskies, along with Vince Newsom as a defensive back to run him out of bounds. Escalera making the catch of the play, picking up the first down for Washington State. T.J. Jones back in the ball game. Escalera comes out. Bates in at the tight end position for the Cougars. Running backs are Martin and Harris again. Here goes Ricky Turner. Rolls to his left. Big rush. Going to be hit and knocked down. Stuart Hill with a rush for Washington. Knocks Ricky Turner down before he can get out of bounds with 2:06 to play here in the first half.
Turner getting to the outside on the rollout pass as he looks, and there's just no one to throw to. And there's excellent speed.
Stuart Hill making the play. We'll be back with more right after this. Cougars leading 7-3. They have the ball. 2nd and 14 at the Washington 42 with 2:03 to play here in the second quarter. Total offense so far, the Cougars 85 yards rushing to 101 yards passing. They have 186 total yards in the first half so far. To the Huskies, 124. The Huskies have picked up 113 yards rushing and only 11 yards through the air. Coming into the game, they felt they had to be able to throw the ball against the Cougars. 3 crucial turnovers so far. They've converted 1 to a touchdown. Turner rolling out to his right, looking deep, throwing everything down the sideline, and overshoots his intended receiver, Jeff Keller, and almost picked off back there by the Huskies on the play. Horton was back deep for Washington.
He has a strong arm, as he demonstrated there. Even though he had to win, he threw that ball a long way. Had a lot of yardage as a high school quarterback in Compton.
Liepert also back there defensively for Washington. Now it brings up 3rd and 14, 1:55 to go. The Cougars have the wind at their back here in the second quarter. They put 7 points on the scoreboard already. We'll see if they can put in even more. Remembering, if they win, they can go to Pasadena on New Year's Day, and they will play Iowa. Iowa's in the Rose Bowl. Turner rolling to the outside. There's the pitch to Harris, and Harris run out of bounds as he gets to the 37. Tim Harris picks up 5. It's going to bring up now 4th and 9. 4th and 9 for Washington State. Chris O'Connor and Mark Stewart running Harris out of bounds. Cleet Casper comes in the ball game now, and Ward Leland with an attempted field goal back from the 43-yard line. It'll be a 53-yard attempt with a wind at his back. Leland is 1 for 1 in field goals so far this year. The ball is up. Kick is not going to be long enough. It's going to be short. It's going to bounce about 4 yards deep in the end zone, so the Huskies will take over with 1:46 to play here in the second quarter, with Washington State on top by a score of 7-3.
Well, that was certainly the time, place to go for that field goal with the wind to his back. He just didn't quite meet the ball strong enough. With a little bit of help that time, it could have been, because it was right between the crossbars, just short.
1:46 to go. As we've mentioned in the second quarter, Ron Cookie Jackson out of Franklin High School here in Seattle, and a tailback now for Washington, 5'10", 170. DeFeo still in at fullback. Interesting to see what the Huskies do here.
Will be. They're against the wind. They either go with their
back to throw. They're going for everything, throwing deep down the sideline, intended for Anthony Allen. It's going to be in and out of his hands, and he almost had it.
They were running right together.
There you see it again. Pelluer back to throw. It's Nate Bradley covering on the play, and the ball's still going to be in the air, and Bradley almost intercepted it.
Sure did.
Pelluer is now 1 of 9 in the ball game for 11 yards so far.
Cougars are going to drop off, play it pretty loose. Very conscious of not letting the Husky receivers get behind them here this close to half.
2nd and 10 to go. Pelluer back to throw again. Huskies 1 point on the scoreboard now. Throwing to the outside. It's going to be complete to Paul Scanzi, and Scanzi is knocked out of bounds there. In on the play defensively for Washington State, John S. West along with Sorensen.
Scanzi runs this route about as well as any receiver in the country. And he gets a fine delivery that time from Pelluer. As we see, he starts down deep, drives the defensive back way off, and then cuts back into that sideline.
So first and 10 for Washington now as they move the ball out to their own 47. Split backs are DeFeo along with Cookie Jackson. Pelluer back to throw. Big rush. Throws to the outside of DeFeo. can't get away defensively, however, from the big guy on the outside. And that's Rico Tipton, the sophomore from Citrus Heights, California, for Washington State.
Good reaction on his part because the rest of the rush had committed pretty well.
No huddle. Huskies back to throw. Throw to the outside. Complete to Scansey and knocked out of bounds in Cougar territory at the 45 with 1:07 to go here in the first half. So the Huskies trying to get something on the scoreboard here before the clock ticks away to end the half. Washington State 7, Washington 3. Type of football game you thought it would be?
Yes, it really is. A close one. I didn't anticipate quite as many turnovers because we haven't had the rain, but it's been a big break game, changing possession.
The Huskies have turned it over 3 times. DeFeo over the left side. And he's going to pick up very close to the first down. I think he picked up the first down with a minute to go here in the first down. He did. In the first half, he did. So DeFeo picks up the first down for Washington, and the Huskies have it now at the Cougar 42. Timeout's going to be called by the Huskies with a minute to go here in the first half, and Washington on top by a score, or Washington State on top by a score of 7-3. A minute to go in the first half. Washington State on top 7-3. Huskies with the ball. 1st and 10 now at the Washington State 42. Pelluer, the long count. Fakes back to throw. Going to be in trouble. Runs out of it. It's going to be hit. Fights his way, however, down across the 40 to the 37-yard line. The clock continues to run. 47 seconds to go. Huskies quickly to the line of scrimmage. Collins and Bradley in to make the stop for Washington State. And Pelluer turns around with 41 seconds to go and calls timeout.
Thought he decided to call it there.
Interesting rushing leaders for Washington. Robinson with 80, DeFeo 26, and Hines with 25. And we're going to come back with more from Washington State from Husky Stadium right after this. Huskies have the ball now, 2nd and 5 at the 37. 40 seconds to go in the half. Hand off to Hines, or Cookie Jackson runs across the 25 inside the 25 to the 24. Make it the 23. Picks up the first down. Here it is again.
That's just an outstanding play. They have that kind of running room.
Kenny Collins
took advantage of it.
Kenny Collins and Sorensen making the stop. 33 seconds to go in the half. Pelluer back, throws to the outside. Knocked away and almost picked off, and that would have been picked off by Nate Bradley. He would have been gone.
Bradley would have had 6 points under his arm. He just held on to that one.
Intended for Anthony Allen. Ho, ho, ho. You worry about those, don't you?
Well, you do. I think Steve's a young quarterback, and when he turns and throws that ball to the outside, he just has to see that there isn't any other different colored jersey out there, or he throws it clear out of bounds, way over your receiver.
29 seconds to go in the first half.
He learned a good lesson there.
2nd and 10 at the 23. Huskies with the ball. They're at the Cougar 23. I formation. Pelluer back to throw again. Has time. Throws to the outside. The catch is complete to Anthony Allen, and he's down to the 15. Going to be just short of the first down marker. 16 seconds to go in the first half. Timeout is going to be called by Washington. So 15 seconds. They lost the second. Timeout called by the Huskies, and we're going to be back with more right after this. We have 15 seconds left to play here in the half. Washington has the ball at the Washington State 15. They have it 3rd and 2. And they're out of timeouts with 15 seconds to go. Washington State leads by a score of 7-3. If Washington State wins, they go to the Rose Bowl and they meet Iowa in the Rose Bowl. The Hawkeyes won the right to represent the Big Ten Conference today. Pelluer with his team in the I formation. Back to throw. Looks, throws to the outside. He's got Scansey there. Diving quick for the touchdown. Pelluer, as you see, throwing to Scansey. Now watch what happens to Nate Bradley here. Bradley has him covered, starts to come back, and just slips, and Scansey dives over him and makes the catch, as you see right there. Great catch by Paul Scansey. And one of those plays that you go back as a defensive back and say, I couldn't have made that mistake. But it was one of those things, the slippery turf, and his feet just went out from under him, or he'd been able to knock the ball away, possibly intercept it.
Exactly right, Bruce. And he went to his top receiver.
The extra point is good. with 8 seconds to go, and the Huskies now on top by a score of 10-7.
Scansey was able to come back to the ball, and that's what the receivers have to do when the ball is either thrown short or high. And he had driven them off, and just had the body control to be able to stay up in order to make a super catch. And also, that particular call, they had to make the decision on the sideline to either go on and kick their field goal because they wouldn't have any more timeouts. They would have to rush the kick or one more pass play, and then if it's incomplete, then they can still kick the field goal.
8 seconds to play in the half. The Huskies score. The lead by a score of 10-7. Nelson will kick it off. Standing deep is Cameron Mitchell back on the goal line for Washington State. And Nelson will be kicking it into a strong wind blowing off Lake Washington right now. Huskies lead it 10-7. 18-yard pass from Pallor to Scansey. They move 63 yards in 10 plays to score.
Be interesting to see the instructions that were given to Nelson, whether to kick it off into the wind high or to kick it on the ground. Most cases with only 8 seconds. I would like to see him kick it off on the ground, just bounce it along and see what happens.
I think he's listened to you. The ball bounces through a couple of arms, finally picked up by a Cougar. He's across the 25, fights his way to the 30 and gets to the 31-yard line. And that's Joe Taylor with the ball for Washington State. 1 second to go in the half. Huskies on top 10-7. Player injured down at the 26-yard line. We'll pick up his number for you in just a second. Richard Hay was the man injured on the play. There, the scoring drive. 73 yards in 10 plays. Took the Huskies 2 minutes and 52 seconds to do it. 1 second to go here in the half. Washington on top by a score of 10-7 over the Cougars of Washington State. As you know, at halftime in Los Angeles, UCLA is leading Southern California by a score of 18-12. So if Washington wins and UCLA wins, it will be the Bruins against Iowa in the Rose Bowl. We'll see what the Cougars do now. Will they throw it deep? Will they go for everything here with a second to go? Final play of the first half.
My guess is that
Ricky Turner's back to throw. Was this your guess? He's going to run out. Still up, throws deep over the middle. It is complete to Pat Beach. Beach with the ball at the 40, still on his feet. He knows he can't run out of bounds. Going to be knocked down at the 32.
You'll never know my guess.
I'll never know your guess. You're so right. It's halftime here at Husky Stadium with the Huskies scoring with only 8 seconds remaining in the first half to grab a 10-7 lead over Washington State. Huskies and the Cougars, they have been playing for a long time, and I'll tell you, this is a typical Washington State game. Here is Harry Sloan on the sideline with Don James. Harry?
Don, an interesting game. A lot of momentum shifts in this game. Turnovers playing a big part.
Our players are playing very hard, and we're not happy with the turnovers. I'm happy to be ahead. I'm not sure we deserve that, but it's been a wild football game and two good teams.
Now, Tony Caldwell, a big question mark there. Will he be able to return?
No, he's done. He has a sprained knee.
Now, what are you going to tell your players at halftime? You're going in with the lead, just a last-second one at that, but you've got it.
Hang on to the football, and 30 more minutes of very tough football.
Is this pretty much the way you envision the game going?
I'd hope it would be a semi-defensive battle because I felt like that's what it would take to give us a chance.
Okay, good luck
Thanks,
to you in
sir.
the remaining game. We'll be back with Jim Walden at the start of the second half. Meanwhile, Bruce, back to you.
Thank you, Harry, very much. You see the crowd here, sellout crowd at Husky Stadium. Oh, what a first half it has been, Jim Owens, huh?
Well, it has been a terrifically exciting half.
And we'll be back with all the halftime activities and more. The Washington State football game right after this. Washington State with 13 first downs, and how even can you get? Yards rushing, the Cougars 90. Yards passing, 135 to Washington's 52. And those 52 yards came late in that drive that the Huskies got on the scoreboard with 8 seconds to play. 225 total yards in the first half for Washington State, 193 for Washington. And offensive plays just about even, but turnovers, 3 for Washington and 2 for Washington State. Time of possession, just about dead even. So it's been the kind of football game I think a lot of people anticipated it was going to be. And what in the world do you expect now, Jim, to happen here in the second half?
I really think that they're going to come back out. They've come so close. They've been even. Both teams don't want any turnovers. I don't think there'll be a lot of change as far as strategy is concerned. I think they'll come out and run basically the same offense that both the Huskies and the Cougars have run in the all season long. I think they probably, I would guess that Washington would decide on certain backs and maybe stay with them because they've rotated several backs in the ball game. And I think as they come down in the second half and fourth quarter, maybe Pallor can work with one set of backs. And I think that this may be one thing I would look for.
Now you think about bowl games. Washington apparently has something locked up with a Holiday Bowl. If they should lose this ball game, or even if they should win and go on to not have that opportunity, as you know, to go on to play in Pasadena on New Year's Day if UCLA defeats USC. We see the copters. There are a lot of airplanes and all kinds of things around here. People all want to see this football game today. You're so right.
Where that wind's whipping.
As the captains come back on the field to start the second half, the Cougar captains are back out there right now. The Husky captains just coming out of the tunnel. The Cougars are down there in the tunnel right now, and you can see all the rooters. That's the Cougar band to sort of root their team on and say, look, all we want you to do is come back here and score in the second half and beat the Huskies, because we can go to Pasadena on New Year's Day. In the first half for Washington, you look at the rushing yardages. Robinson with 13 carries for 81 yards. Here come the Cougars. Watch this. Washington State Cougars coming on the field. Get back to our stats now. Robinson, 13 carries for 81 yards. For the Huskies, Hines, 6 carries for 25, and DeFeo, 6 for 24 in the first half. Pelor, 6 of 15, throwing the ball for 52 yards and 1 touchdown. Scansey, 3 catches for 31 yards and the touchdown. Roseboro's made 1 catch for 11, and Anthony Allen 1 for 8. Here come the Huskies. Washington leading 10-7 here at halftime. For Washington State in the first half, Harris 10 carries for 32 yards, the longest 10. Williams 4 for 19. Martin 2 for 16, and he had the 6-yard run for the touchdown. Turner 4 of 8, throwing the football for 76 yards. Here's Harry Sloan with Jim Walden. Harry?
Jim, first of all, Clete Casper, how is he?
He won't play anymore. He pulled a severe hamstring pull. He's all done.
It's a tough game for you. Turnovers dictating which way the momentum is flowing.
No, we're just not doing some things. I think we've had several opportunities, and we've talked about those, so we just got to do a better job with our possession.
And in the locker room, you told them just that, I assume?
Just that, and that, hey, we got as much right to try to believe we can win this football game as they do, so let's go win it.
Okay. Thank you. Good luck to you. All right, Bruce, that's about it from here. Should be an exciting second half. Let's go back up to you.
Thank you, Harry, very much. Getting back to the stats here again, Escalera 4 catches for 44 yards, Keller 3 for 45, and Beach 1 for 35. Casper went out of the ball game. He was 5 for 7, had 1 interception for 59 yards. There you see him on the sideline. Now, Jim Walden says he's not going to play here in the second half, but he's still throwing the ball with Ricky Turner. A guy like Clete Casper, a competitor.
He sure is. I think maybe just warming up the other quarterback, probably.
We'll see what happens here in the second half, as the Huskies will kick it off to the Cougars. They will defend the gold on our right, which is the open end of Husky Stadium. Cameron Mitchell now is drifting back to the 5-yard line for Washington State. The Cougars trail at 10-7. Jim, do you see any changes here in the second half?
Well, the wind doesn't seem to be quite as strong as it was at times in the first half. I think it's still a factor, but it's not anything like we had, of course, last Saturday in this stadium.
If the Huskies can win here, and if SC can win, then Washington goes to the Rose Bowl. If Washington wins today and UCLA wins in Los Angeles, Washington will go to the Holiday Bowl, and that presentation expected to be made immediately following the football game. The word again today is that if Washington State does not go to the Rose Bowl, there's an excellent chance they will go to the Bluebonnet Bowl. So we'll see what happens here in the second half between Washington and Washington State. We've got 30 minutes of football left. It's cooling off here. You have to sort of bundle up a little bit, Jim, and get ready for the second half. Chuck Nelson to kick it off. He's got the wind at his back. Cameron Mitchell standing back on the goal line, as we mentioned, for the Washington State Cougars. The Huskies have won the last 7 games in a row from Washington State, but the Cougars have never been in this position before. Here comes Chuck Nelson to approach the football. A high kick. Cameron Mitchell is going to take it 3 yards deep in the end zone. He'll down it there. And exactly like the start of the ball game, the Cougars will put it in play on their own 20. Interestingly enough, in the fourth quarter, the Cougars will have the wind at their back. The Huskies with the wind at their back here as they kick off to Washington State. And again, a lot of faith in that defense, saying, hey, let's get the ball over and give it to the offense and give the offense a chance to try to do something, put some more points on the scoreboard. I know the Cougars waiting, really thinking of that fourth quarter, thinking we're going to have the wind at our back, and if we've got to come from behind to do it, we're going to be able to do it then. So Cougars to the line of scrimmage. Running backs for Washington State now, Williams and Harris. Ricky Turner, the quarterback. Hand off to Harris over the left side. Gets a little daylight there. Takes the ball out over the 25 to the 26. Make it 2nd and 4 at the 26 for Washington State at that point. Harris in the first half of the ball game with 10 carries for 32 yards. And he probably, well, he needed 37. He's going to be about 2 yards short now of Kenny Granberry's all-time rushing record at Washington State. He needed 37 yards coming in. He got 6 there. If he gets another yard, he'll tie it. 2 more, he'll break it. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you abreast of that.
That's quite a record, that rushing record.
2nd and 4 for Washington State. Hand again to Harris. He has the record in a big hole. It's over the 30 for the first down, out to the 35 to the 36. Tim Harris picking up the first down, and he is the all-time leading rusher at Washington State. Robert Leapart and Kenny Driscoll making the play. Here you see it again. They opened a big hole over the left side of the line.
Well, they sure did. The linebacker missed the tackle, and he, with his speed, he just ran right through his arms. And that's 2 in a row that they gave to Harris. Nice yardage.
1st and 10 at the Washington State 37. Come right back this time to Williams. Williams over the right, and he's going to bump his way up across the 40 to the 43. He picks up about 5 on the play. Make it 2nd and 5 now at the 43. Cougars keeping the ball on the ground.
They are. They came out and said, we're going to run right straight at Washington's interior defensive people and see what happens.
If your defense, your rushing defense, is the best in the conference, we're going to test it right here. To Harris over the left side. He's hit as he gets to the line of scrimmage. Picks up about 4 yards on the play. Is going to be just a little bit short of the first down. Harris just rolls his way across. As Flagger, McKay, Sebahar, Patrick, and Sloan across the line. Two wide receivers now. Split out wide to the right. For Washington State, it's 3rd and just a yard. Turner keeps, dives ahead and picks up the first down. Took the ball to the 48. About a half a yard is all he needed, and he picks up the first down. So it's 1st and 10 for Washington State at that point, with 12:59 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Scott Garnett now in the ball game for Washington. Garnett seeing his first action since he was injured. So Garnett gets into the ball game.
He was certainly a powerful factor in last year's defensive unit, and you'll see how he reacts after a long layoff.
1st and 10 for Washington State. Pitch to the outside to Harris. Harris with some daylight. Tries to get around the corner, but can't do it as the Huskies close in a hurry. Kenny Driscoll coming up on the play, along with Bill Stapleton. Takes the ball across midfield and gets into Washington territory at the 49. Picks up about 3 yards in the play, and make it now 2nd and 7 for the Cougars at the Washington 49. The ball just across midfield. 12:19 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Washington against Washington State, with the Huskies on top by a score of 10-7. Ricky Turner replacing the injured Cleet Casper in this 1st quarter and running his ball club very well. Make it the 2nd quarter. Turner and straight ahead to Harris, and he fights his way down across the 45 to the 43-yard line. Just short of the first down by a couple of yards. Giroux in on the play for Washington.
That's certainly been their most effective play here in this drive. They've been inside on every down except one, the one pitch out, and Washington did react to the outside well on the pitch out.
It's interesting that they decided to throw the ball early in the ball game and not really try to work the inside. They come right back to work it here. Bowen's in the ball game, replacing Harris along with Williams. Harris a little shoulder problem as he goes to the sideline. The Cougars have it 3rd and 1. Handoff over the right side, and picks up the first down at the 39, and that's Robert Williams. Williams with the first down as they're working now against the Huskies. Scott Garnett, Kadich, and Jenkins in there. Kenny Driscoll and Mark Stewart making the stop for Washington on the play. The clock continues to tick away, and if Washington State can dominate here and continue to drive that football, then they know they're going to have the wind at their back in the 4th quarter. They trail Washington 10-7.
Very time-consuming drive from the standpoint of the Huskies, right?
1st and 10 now at the Washington 39. Turner keeps. Goes to the 31. He'll be 2 yards short of the first down. Ricky Turner, who runs so well with the ball. Now watch, fake inside, then keep it. Boy, when you get that ball out there, it can be knocked away.
He's very, very dangerous when he keeps that ball. He had the opportunity to either pitch it out as he came down the line or keep it, and the Husky defense gave him enough running room, and he just cut up the field and took it.
Turner's the third leading rusher on the Washington State football team. Two wide receivers split out wide to the left, Mitchell and Keller. 2nd and 2. Handoff straight ahead over the right side is Tim Harris back in the ball game. He takes it inside the 30 down to near the first down marker at the 29. It depends on where in the world they mark the ball. But Harris is down. Tim Harris went off just a moment ago with a sore shoulder, it appeared, and Tim Harris is down. The all-time leading rusher at Washington State is down, as you see. And what a blow that could be to this Washington State football team. They've lost Clete Casper already, and to lose Tim Harris here with 10:19 to play in the third quarter and trailing 10-7 would really be a blow.
That'd be a trim.
We'll be back with more right after this. Tim Harris is up now, very gingerly walking off the field, as you see. And he's sort of holding his stomach. It's hard to see, Jim, exactly what it was. Here's the hit right here. Now watch. Harris goes down, and it's going to be hit awfully hard there by a couple of Huskies getting in on the play. It appears now it was his left arm. His left arm. So in to replace Tim Harris for Washington State will be Mike Martin. So Martin is a running back along with Williams. They pick up the first down. 1st and 10 for Washington State there. Ricky Turner to the outside is going to keep. Fakes the pitch, fakes the dive inside, and is going to pick up, a couple of yards in the play. Make it 2nd and 8 now, as he takes the ball down to the 37-yard line. Fletcher Jenkins out of Lakes High School in Tacoma, 6'2", 253, the senior, the 2-year letterman, and a guy who was the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Week last week against USC. In fact, he loves to play against USC.
Sure does.
He's done it 2 years in a row. So it is now 2nd and 8 for Washington State at the Washington 28. The Cougars trail 10-7. Ricky Turner is the quarterback. Handoff to Williams. Spins his way into the clear and takes the ball across the 20, and he had a touchdown if he had been able to stay on his feet, and gets down to the 16.
They certainly hit the Husky defense. We'll see it here. It hit the Husky defense just at the right spot. Jenkins there had a shot at him and made him at least lose his balance, or he might have been gone. O'Connor gets there.
Chris O'Connor was the man, as you'd mentioned, right there. Picks up the first down. They're going to mark it at the 18-yard line. 21-15, UCLA in the fourth quarter. A lot of Husky fans rooting for USC here today. The dive play over the right side, the handoff to Mike Martin, the little 5'8", 183-pound running back, and he takes it down to the 25, or make it the 15, rather. He picks up a couple of yards on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 7 now for Washington State at that point. 8:46 to go here in the third quarter from a cool Husky Stadium in Seattle. Washington against Washington State for the Apple Cup and a trip to the Rose Bowl, a conference championship, you name it. It's all going to be decided here today.
Well, this
2nd and
drive
7
is
for the Cougars.
almost 7 minutes so far. The Cougars have used up the clock.
Turner to the outside. The Huskies play it very well. And that was Mark Giroux with a defensive play. Mark Giroux making the stop. Now here comes Turner down the line. The option, decides to keep. Giroux's there, doesn't buy the bait, and stops him.
Very, very fine defensive play for the Huskies.
So picks up a couple of yards on the play. Make it 3rd and 6 now. The ball at the Washington 13-yard line. Right in the middle of the field, right between the goalposts. Cougars to the line of scrimmage. Crowd comes alive, as you can hear. 7:54 to go in the third quarter. Turner taking his time, looks like a veteran there. He's only a sophomore. Handoff straight ahead to Williams. He's going to be hit short of the first down marker. But they're playing for a tie, I would believe, right now, because they're going to come in and attempt the field goal. Williams gets the ball down to the 11-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th down. Again, good defensive move by Washington. And the Huskies, Kenny Driscoll and Mark Giroux in there, Lynn Matson also. And the Cougars will attempt a field goal. The ball's going to be marked back at the 17-yard line, a 27-yard field goal. Ward Leland will kick it. Whistle blows. They're trying to get the ball wiped off and dry it just a little bit, as you see. Ward Leland will attempt the field goal, and Clete Casper in the hole. He's been limping around since he hurt his leg, as you know, in the first half. Leland's kick is up. The kick is up. It looks good. It is good. 7:07 to go in the third quarter. It is Washington 10 and now Washington State 10, and we'll be right back. It's all tied at 10-10 here at Husky Stadium. Now for an update on Tim Harris, here's Harry Sloan. Harry?
Thank you, Bruce. I just talked with Dr. Fuhrer of the Cougar staff. He examined Tim Harris's right knee. He has a mild sprain. He will wait a little longer, recheck it again. Tim is trying to work it out and see if he can go back in, but now they don't know. So a mild strain of the right knee for Tim Harris. Bruce, back to you.
The Cougars to kick it off. It is going to drive Anthony Allen all the way back to the back of the end zone, and the Huskies will put it in play at their own 20 as the ball's down there. Interestingly enough, Jim, in that drive for Washington State, 14 plays, 69 yards. Leland, the 27-yard field goal to tie it. But here's the big stat. All running plays. They didn't put the ball in the air once.
Well, that takes a tremendous amount of determination on the part of the not only the players but the coaches to say we're just going to run at Washington's defense, number one in the conference, and control the ball, and they did it.
Aaron Williams, Anthony Allen, the wide receivers, both split wide to the left. 1st and 10 for Washington at their own 20. Jackson, DeFeo, the running backs. Long count. Pitch to Cookie Jackson, trying to find daylight in the outside, and scoots down the sideline for about 7 yards. Cookie Jackson picking up 7 yards on the play for the Huskies, and the little guy, he's not the biggest guy in the world at 5'10", 170, is averaging almost 4 yards a carry this year for Washington. He is the Huskies' leading rusher. He did not start the ball game, but he is starting here in the second half. Nate Bradley making the stop and knocking him out of bounds for Washington State. So Huskies now 2nd and 3. The ball out at the 27. Huskies moving toward the closed end of the Husky Stadium. Jackson again, a big hole over the right side. Is going to pick up the first down as he takes it to the 33. 6:57 to play here in the third quarter. Here comes Cookie Jackson. He can explode with the football. He can run in a hurry.
He can. Good running route.
Walker and White along with Sorensen making the stop for Washington State.
You usually find number 28 around the ball, don't you?
You certainly do. They call him the headhunter at Washington State.
Fine player.
It is all tied 10-10. We're in the third quarter. Huskies have the ball now out at their own 33. Handoff to DeFeo, and is hit hard by Elisara, and Elisara just unloaded on it at the line of scrimmage. He might have made, maybe a half a yard on the play. But good play by Elisara, and this guy from Samoa is 6'3", 250. You know something about him. He sang the national anthem prior to the Pacific game.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, they call him the singing Samoan. Elisara, quite a football player.
I knew they'd had some slinging Samoans, but I didn't know that. Now they were singer.
Huskies with the ball, facing its 2nd and 8. Cookie Jackson running to the outside, and not much there. The Cougar defense is going to close in a hurry. Picks up only 2, takes it to the 37. Make it 3rd and 6 now for Washington. The 37, Elkington and Blakeney in on the play for the Cougars. Husky and Cougar fans all bundled up here. You look around, there isn't a seat to be seen in Husky Stadium today. And you can bet through the years, a lot of people saying, I was there. I saw it happen. It's 10-10. We're in the third quarter.
Key play coming up right here. There'll be a lot of them in the second half, but this is going to be a key play.
I formation.
Both teams.
Pallur rolling out to throw. Looks, throws, complete to Aaron Williams for the first down. Aaron Williams picks up the first down by only about a yard. As the ball was complete to the 44. Here you see Pallur is going to run right at you. He has Williams open, and Williams, making sure he gets the catch, goes down on his knees to make the catch. So the ball now moves to the 44-yard line. 1st and 10 for Washington there. The Huskies moving. 5:19 to play in the third quarter with a score tied at 10-10. 2 wide receivers split wide to the right for the Huskies. Williams and Allen. I formation. Cookie Jackson hit behind the line of scrimmage, breaks the tackle, breaks it to the outside. Still on his feet and into Cougar territory to the 45 and a first down. Cookie Jackson broke the tackle at the line of scrimmage. As you see, he should have been stopped right there.
Should have been stopped right there. But that was fine balance.
Kenny Emil, who got a hold of him but couldn't stop him.
Real
Jackson,
fine cut there. Excellent running. Part of Jackson.
Very well. Picks up the first down. The Huskies on the move. This drive started at their own 20. 4:48 to go. Handoff straight ahead to DeFeo. Hit hard, spins around and goes down. And McGrath's Elisera, Kenny Collins made the hit on him. He's 6'3", 240 out of Kashmir. He's going to make a believer out of DeFeo if he runs into the middle of that line enough. I'll tell you, you have to love contact to be a fullback.
That's right. There's a lot of it going on out there, not only at fullback, but every position.
DeFeo, 5'11", 196, the sophomore out of Kennedy High School near Seattle. 10-10 tie, 4:16 to go. 2nd and 7 at the 43 for the Huskies. A reverse to Anthony Allen.
Set up.
Has running room and a couple of blockers. 40, 35 at the 30. Still on his feet. It's going to be run out of bounds inside the 25 at the 23-yard line. Here it is again. The fake inside to Cookie Jackson. They come to Anthony Allen. And the senior from Garfield puts on a burst of speed with a couple of good blocks. You see on the outside, Aaron Williams is out there. And also Eric Moran.
Fine block. Cougars were able to recover, but only after giving up quite a few yards, and a big psychological boost for the Huskies at this point in the game.
4:01 to play in the third quarter. 10-10 tie. Chris James now in at fullback, replacing DeFeo. And Cookie Jackson is the tailback. Pelluer. Back to throw. Looks into the corner. In and out of the hands of Aaron Williams, and he might have had a touchdown. The defender in the play was Nate Bradley, but Aaron Williams had the football at that time, and in and out of his hands. It's one of those things where I think he turned and started to look up the field to see whether he could score. Watch this.
Well, he's certainly out there with the ball. He just has to look it in all the way into his hands. He did turn a little too soon, so it's about a trade-off. We've had Cougar drop a real fine reception. Now we've had a Husky drop one in the open, so it's pretty well evened out.
So they're dead even. The score is dead even at 10-10. Huskies now 2nd and 10. The ball at the Cougar 23. James and Cookie Jackson are the running backs. Hand off to Jackson over the left side. Daylight. He's at the 10. Touchdown, Washington. Cookie Jackson with a 23-yard run for the touchdown. Watch it again. Makes a great move right there and has daylight all the way and goes in to score.
When you have a back that can see that well, let's see it again here. He starts to the right and he gets the Cougars going in that direction, and the cutback is just perfect. And he has enough speed to outrun the secondary people to get it into the end zone.
Couple of great blocks that time by Zach Zorn and Jimmy Carter.
No one put a hand on him. Just outstanding blocking.
Chuck Nelson, who's yet to miss an extra point this year, is perfect so far. He is now 29 at 29, and we'll be back with more of the Washington State game right after this. Cookie Jackson just runs 23 yards for a Washington touchdown. They move 80 yards in 10 plays to score. Jackson 5 carries for 50 yards in the drive. He's 6 for 69 for the ball game so far. Now, with Washington leading 17-10 here, how about this in Los Angeles? UCLA leads USC 21-15 with 5 minutes to play. If Washington wins and UCLA wins, the Bruins of UCLA go to the Rose Bowl. Chuck Nelson will kick it off. Have you ever been in one of these, Jim, when it gets down to something like this?
Oh, yes. A lot of times. We thought the first half was exciting, this third quarter, but we'll just wait till the fourth quarter and we hear that final score down in Los Angeles.
Here's the scoring drive, as we've mentioned. 10 plays, 80 yards, took 4:17. Off the clock, 23-yard run by Cookie Jackson to make it 17-10 in favor of Washington. Interestingly enough, after the Cougars kicked the field goal, the Huskies then drive 80 yards to score. Chuck Nelson driving Cameron deep into the end zone, and the Cougars will not run it out, and they'll put the ball in play on their own 20. So we're down to 3:50 to play. 18 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in this Washington State football game from a cool and sort of breezy Husky Stadium. It looks like rain now. We hope we don't get any for the rest of the afternoon. But what a game. They talked about this being the game of the year. One of the great games in the history of Washington State football. And I don't think anybody's disappointed so far. It's been a great football game.
Are not.
Well, now it's up to the Cougars of Washington State. They're 8-1-1. They have played so well this year. Can they come back and win? Williams and Martin are the running backs. Ricky Turner looks, throws over the middle, throws the ball short. Intended out there for Jeff Keller. Cleet Casper was injured in the second quarter and will not come back in the ball game. So it's all up to Ricky Turner. And with Washington State's offense this year, Jim, that has to put a real dent in it. And we're not taking anything away from Ricky Turner at all. We're just saying that Clete Casper gives you a little different look. You know what Ricky Turner maybe can do, but Clete Casper comes in, he does something else, but he'll not be back. Listen to this crowd.
Crowd is something else.
Pitch to the outside to Williams. The ball's loose. Washington recovers. It was Fletcher Jenkins who made the play. Watch it again. Here it comes. Pitch to the outside to Williams. Watch Fletcher Jenkins come up. Oh, goodbye. Or rather, I'll take that back. That was Vince Newsom who made the play. Fletcher Jenkins was the guy who recovered it.
That has to be one of the finest open field tackles that the Huskies have made in a long, long time. It couldn't come at a more critical time.
We still have Williams down on the field right now. They've lost Casper. Timmy Harris is out with a strained knee, and now Williams is on the turf.
Well, the tackle caught him right in the chest. He was trying to feel the ball and cut up field and get away from one running back. Excuse me. As a running back, trying to get away from one tackler, you're a little bit out of position sometimes. And when someone tackles you that square, it really does leave you vulnerable.
Vince Newsom, the 2-year letterman from Vacaville, California, was the man who just unloaded on Williams, and he is still down. Fletcher Jenkins recovered the fumble for Washington, and the Huskies are going to have it now at the Cougar 20. Turnovers playing an important part in this game, but here it is again. Now watch it. The fake inside. The pitch is going to go to the outside. Now watch Newsom, number 23, is going to come up here, and watch the hit right there. Ooh, and the ball is loose, and Fletcher Jenkins comes up and recovers it. Williams is up into the sideline. Big round of applause for Robert Williams, because he really took a pop. The Cougars have fumbled it twice, and they've lost it twice. The Huskies 3 times, and they have lost it 3 times. Huskies leading 17-10, have a golden opportunity right now at the 20-yard line.
I don't see how they could even hear the count down there.
I agree. Back to throw. Pelluer runs ahead, going to be hit and knocked down as he goes across the 20 down to the 19. Walker and Kenny Collins making the play for Washington State. Mike Walker and Kenny Collins.
I think Steve did the right thing there. He didn't see anyone really open, and he was able to pick up just enough yardage to get it back in position and not throw an interception or get a big loss.
Looking to the outside to Aaron Williams on the play. Vince Kobe now in at fullback, making his first appearance for Washington in the ball game. Pelluer, the long count, and off to Cookie Jackson. He's going to be hit as he gets down near the 15. They'll probably knock it at the 16. He picks up a couple of yards on the play, so it's going to bring up a 3rd down for the Huskies now at the 16-yard line. They've got the wind at their back. They have the leading field goal kicker in the Pac-10 conference sitting on the bench, and they'd love to get out of here, Jim, with just 3 points. Washington State trying to dig in after giving up the football at the 20.
Well, I'm sure that the Huskies are thinking they certainly want to come out of it with at least 3. They'll try awfully hard to get the first down here. If not, then they still have their opportunity.
Scanzi and Williams went wide to the right. 3rd and 6. Pelluer hands off to Jackson. He dives straight ahead. Going to be short of the first down as he gets to the 11. So that'll set up the field goal. Going to be a yard short of the first down. Blakeney making the stop in the inside linebacker position for Washington State. Here's Cookie Jackson. He scored on a play just like this a moment ago. 23-yard run, but this time the Cougar defense stiffens and they hold. So they force Nelson to kick the field goal. The ball will be put down on the 18-yard line, right between the goalposts. Steve Pelluer will hold. It'll be a 28-yard field goal for Chuck Nelson. The score 17-10 in favor of Washington. The ball's down. It looks good. It is good, and the Huskies now lead it by a score of 20-10. So with 1:38 to go in the 3rd quarter, it is now Washington 13 and Washington State 10. And we'll be right back. Or make it 20. We'll change that score. It is 20-10 in favor of Washington over Washington State. With one here in the 3rd quarter, and we'll be right back. Chuck Nelson to kick it off. Washington 20. Washington State 10. It goes to Cameron Mitchell, 5 yards deep in the end zone, and that's all he's been able to do today is just down the ball in the end zone. Flag goes down, and we'll see what it is out about the 12-yard line. I'll tell you, the hitting's pretty good out there right now, Jim.
Oh, there's a high intensity.
The penalty will be against Washington State. And hereby the reaction to this Washington crowd. Personal foul against the Cougars.
Well, that's going to put Washington State even deeper in the hole.
So the Cougars buried back at their own 10-yard line.
We have a dead ball, personal foul against the Cougars. It'll be first down and 20.
The dead ball foul, as you heard, sets up a 1st and 20 back at the 10. They're trailing 20-10. We've got 1:38 to play in the 3rd quarter. Huskies a slight favorite to win, but so was USC, and UCLA's defeating USC in Los Angeles. Ricky Turner is the quarterback. Turner looks to the outside, throws in and out of the hands of the intended receiver for Washington State, and that's Escalera on the outside. A couple of words exchanged there between Escalera and Mark Giroux of Washington on the play.
Well, that's a gamble that they wanted to take back there to try to get a big gainer.
We just heard an update. We'll bring it to you now. With time running out in the ball game, USC has scored. They lead UCLA 22-21. Here's the play to the outside. Marcus Allen, this from Los Angeles. That's the go-ahead touchdown between USC UCLA. Here's the handoff of the Cougars. Big hole over the middle. Running with the football for Washington State on the play is Don LeBom. LeBom into the ball game now. Make it Mike Martin into the ball game on the play. Mike Martin with the play for the Cougars.
Cougars came right back. They had 2nd and 10 and picked up a big play there offensively to bring him out of the hole, puts him up on the 24-yard line.
Backfield for Washington State. They have James Matthews in the ball game now. And up over the left side of that is Martin with it. Mike Martin with the ball. He fights his way up to near the 30 and close to the 1st down. And Don LeBom, as we mentioned a moment ago, is also in the backfield. Okay, we'll get it straight for you. LeBom is back there along with Martin for Washington State. 8 yards and 4 plays. 28-yard field goal by Nelson, as you see. 49 seconds to play here in the 3rd quarter. The Huskies lead at 20-10. And again, they had the wind at their back in that 3rd quarter. Now can the Cougars come back and do it in the 4th quarter when the wind's at their back? Cougars with the football. Ricky Turner, the quarterback. They are now facing 1st and 10 at the 30, their own 30. Handoff, quick opener over the right side of the line, and that's Mike Martin out of Clover Park in Tacoma. And he picks up 3 yards on the play. Out to the 33. Lynn Matson of Washington and Mark Giroux in to make the play. Kenny Driscoll was the first man to make contact. The clock ticks away, and I don't think they'll get another one away here at the end of the 3rd quarter. And 7 seconds to go in the quarter. Cougars come to the line of scrimmage. Flanker goes wide to the left. That's Escalera. And they sort of take the time, as you can see, coming to the line of scrimmage. They want the wind at their back. So at the end of 3, it is Washington 20, Washington State 10, and we'll be right back. 15 minutes to go between Washington and Washington State. The Huskies, as you see, 20. Washington State 10. Cougars with the football, 2nd and 7. Back at the 33. Throwing over the middle. It is complete to Keller for the 1st down. Keller making the play in Washington territory at the 49. Kenny Driscoll making the hit for the Huskies. Jeff Keller making the catch. He's the leading receiver on this Washington State football team. There you see it again.
Couldn't throw a nicer pass than that one. Turner drilled that ball right in between 3 Huskies. Keller made just an outstanding catch.
The Cougar fans come alive. 14:41 to go in the ball game. The ball at the Washington 49. Turner at quarterback. Hands over the right side to LeBom, and LeBom spins his way down across the 45 to the 44. Kenny Driscoll in on the play for Washington. Matson was also there. Caddigan on the play. The clock continues to tick away. The Cougars, starting at their own 20, have now driven all the way to the Washington 44-yard line. It is 2nd and 5 for the Cougars there. He's everywhere. Turner brings his ball club to the line of scrimmage. Setbacks, as you know. are Martin and LeBom. Pitch to the outside to LeBom is going to be hit 4 yards short of the first down. Gets back just to the line of scrimmage and maybe just a little bit more. Good defensive play by Washington.
Straight down the line option. Pitched out. The pursuit from the Huskies. There's several purple jerseys over there.
Stuart Hill was the key man along with Fletcher Jenkins on the play for Washington. So now it brings up 3rd and 4. Big decision for the Washington State Cougars now. They trail 20-10. We're down to 13:30 to play in the ball game. USC leads UCLA. The Huskies get sort of the incentive they need because if they win, they go to the Rose Bowl. Misdirection play. Great defensive play by Washington. Handoff goes to Martin. And that was Kenny Driscoll who made the defensive play for the Huskies out of Mount Tahoma High School. Here it is again.
Let's see this.
Driscoll, just a great play, and he worked over the block there of Gary Patrick.
One big defensive play for the Huskies because they now forcing the Cougars to kick the ball to them with 10 points behind. That's the last thing in the world Washington State wanted to do at this point.
The Cougars really needed a touchdown. They almost had to score right then to get on the scoreboard, get right back in it. Less than 13 minutes to go. Tim Davie back to kick, standing back at his own 44-yard line.
Just one more first down would have put them into the four down zone.
And the ball bounces at the 10. Ray Horton lets it bounce, going to be down there at the 12-yard line. So Washington will take over on their own 12. That was Dan Lynch into down the ball for Washington State. There you see part of the crowd on hand, over 60,000 plus here. 35-yard kick for the Cougars on the play. We'll keep you updated on what happens in the closing minutes of that UCLA-USC football game. You saw Marcus Allen run for the touchdown just a few minutes ago to put USC on top of UCLA 22-21. And here, Washington leads Washington State 20-10. Huskies have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 12. Chris James now in at fullback for Washington, along with the tailback Ronnie Jackson. Hand off to Jackson, straight ahead, breaks some tackles, loses the ball, scramble for it. The Cougars say they have it. We'll see what happens.
I don't know if he got it back or not. He was the closest to the ball. Then you saw a lot of white jerseys come in there in a hurry.
I think the Huskies got it back. We'll see. They try to unpile him. Dave Kamansky, the referee, right in the middle of the pile, is going to be 2nd down, and the Huskies recover the ball. Chris James was the man on fell on the football for Washington. Watch it again. Pelluer, the handoff to Cookie Jackson. And Jackson trying to break away, gets the ball stripped from him right there by the Cougars, and 95 Kenny Collins. And
James came up with it.
James was the guy who came up with the ball.
Fortunately, it was right there.
If you're a Washington fan. But if you're a Cougar fan, that could have been the break they needed.
Great turnover for Washington State.
The ball out at the 17, 2nd and 5 there. Handoff over the right side. The Cougars are there to stop Jackson this time. And he's going to lose a yard on the play. Now it brings up 3rd and 5 for the Huskies with 11:49 to go. Here in the 4th quarter and leading 20-10. Tipton, Walker in on the play for Washington State.
They couldn't ask for a better defensive effort in that particular play. They know that they're now down to their last 11 and a half minutes in this ball game. They have to get the ball back, and they rose to the occasion there. If they do it here on this down, this last 10 minutes are really going to be something.
The Cougar defense digs in. Movement on the Washington side of the line. And Paul Cody, the center, apparently moved. Or make it that Scott Fawcett, who was in, moved on the play. It's going to cost Washington 5. So now it's going to bring up 3rd and 11 and takes the ball all the way back to the 12-yard line. So the Huskies now buried deep in their own territory with 11:24 to go and leading by a score of 20-10.
We got a dead ball start against the offense. It'll be 3rd down.
A lot of pressure on Jeff Partridge to kick this away if they can't pick up the 1st down here. Huskies to the line of scrimmage with 11:23 to go. Scansey split out wide to the left.
These are the kind of offensive calls that give you gray hair sometimes.
Jackson breaks one tackle, breaks another, still on his feet, going to be hit, however, at the 20, and is going to be knocked down about 3 yards short of the 1st down. Almost picked up the 1st down, Cookie Jackson. And Brent White and Paul Sorensen in there to make the play. Breaks a tackle there, another one here. Now watch what happens. Sorensen and White, that's Brent White making the play.
White made a key tackle. If he held him to making the 1st down there, because Jackson, as we saw, can cut very well, and if the tackle hadn't been just right, he might have been able to slide forward for the 1st down.
10:56 to go in the ball game. Huskies on top 20-10. Partridge standing back on his own 6-yard line. Bill Gribble, the #1 punt returner in the Pac-10 Conference, hasn't had a chance really today. They rush, and down goes Partridge. It's going to be roughing the kicker. Roughing the kicker against Washington State as they go after the ball. And that's going to set up a Washington first down.
Well, the players try so hard. We'll see it here again. They're trying so hard to get that block. They know that can make the difference. He missed the ball. And
I'll
came
tell you,
right
that
on
was
into
close.
the kicker.
That was close. He got him by about 1.5 inches, and it was really hard to see here, and just almost went right by him.
Really trying to get that block.
So the Cougars going for the block that time. They wanted a touchdown in a hurry. They were trying to get it, blocking the punt, and it didn't work. So now, because of the penalty, the Huskies pick up the first down, and the ball is going to be moved all the way out now to the Washington 35. So defense, dig in again. If you're a Cougar fan, you're going to have to rise to the occasion now. 10:39 to go in the ball game. Washington 20, Washington State 10. Aaron Williams and Anthony Allen both split out wide to the left, and the Huskies really get a break there.
Cougars do have to have a turnover here quickly. The next couple of snaps.
Pitch back to Jackson. Jackson's going to be hit and bumped down back inside the 25 at the 24. Loses a yard on the play. And a little pushing and shoving on the sideline, and we'll see what it is.
Flag down on the field over on the sideline. Looks like it's against the Huskies the way they're walking back towards
Looks like
the
it's
goal
going to be a
line.
personal foul. Personal foul against Washington on the play. So the Huskies pick up the personal foul. And they're going to lose all that yardage that they got just a moment ago. They're going to lose 15 yards on this, and all at once, instead of 1st and 10, it's going to be 1st and 25 on the play. So now the ball moves all the way back to the 19-yard line. So.
Oh, we're having a lot of
turnover here.
Turnovers. And
we got a dead ball, personal foul against the offense. It'll advance to second down. Second down. Now,
think about that penalty. It happened a long way from the ball. It was clear over on the sideline. Somebody got a scuffle or late hit or something. We couldn't see it. It was right on the sideline.
We'll correct a dead ball foul. So now it's going to be 2nd and 26. I think the roar of the crowd says SC beat UCLA, but we'll check and see. The place is absolutely wild there right now. The crowd is roaring, so Steve Pallure can't hear the count. He turns around to the official and says, I can't hear a thing. Here's the end of the USC-UCLA football game. UCLA trailing 22-21, and USC blocks the field goal, as you see, and USC takes over, and John Robinson defeats Terry Donahue and the UCLA Bruins.
Oh, what a close one. Going for a field goal to win it and get it blocked.
Now, think about that for a second. Steve Pallure, Anthony Allen saying, wait a minute, we got a football game to play here. We're ahead 20-10.
I hope the crowd calms down for the Huskies' sake, and the Cougars hope, of course, that it keeps roaring, so maybe a Husky will jump offside.
You know what all that means, don't you? Outside to Cookie Jackson, has some daylight, tries to spin away at the 25 and goes up to the 26. Making the play, Rico Tipton from an inside linebacker spot, along with Brett White for Washington State. So Jackson's going to pick up about a 6-yard, make it 7 on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 16, make it 3rd and 19 now for the Huskies. And this old press box sitting up here is beginning to bounce up and down, Jim.
Yes. There's so much crowd noise that I can't even hear you.
And I can't either. I can't hear at all. Huskies to the line of scrimmage, 3rd and 19, 9:56 to play. Huskies on top 20-10 over Washington State. If Washington wins, they go to the Rose Bowl. If the Cougars win, they will go to the Rose Bowl. Split backs now. Long count by Pallure, going back to throw, has time, throws over the middle, misses his man, throwing to Cookie Jackson running up the sideline, a little fly pattern there, and Jackson just can't quite get there to get the ball. Rico Tipton covering on the play for Washington State, and now the Huskies are going to have to kick it away with 9:42 to go. So the Cougar defense rising to the occasion again. We'd mentioned that just a few minutes ago. They're the total yards in the ball game so far. The Cougars lead it 342 to 300. Key play of the ballgame as far as Washington is concerned was that drive after the Cougars came back to tie at 10-10. They go 80 yards and score. Put them ahead 17-10. So here we go with Gribble standing back at his own 35. Partridge is kicked as they have the return, as you had mentioned. Fair catch call for by Gribble. He's going to take it up across the 44 near the 45-yard line. So they'll mark it on the 45. A flag is down at the Washington 45, and we'll see what the penalty is. Another flag down. Emotions running high, as you might expect in a field right now. We're down to 9:35 to go in the ball game. Well, USC defeats UCLA. Iowa is the team in the Rose Bowl, flipping against Washington State, and that will drive them back. And what a tough break for the Cougars.
It is a tough break. They have good field position, well, beautiful field position. They held the Huskies and made them turn over the ball to them on about the 45, and now they're backed up.
Mistakes. That was a key one right there for the Cougars of Washington State. They huddle back inside their own 30 and come up to the line of scrimmage, but there's still a timeout on the field. We mentioned a moment ago, Ohio State beating Michigan and knocking them out of the Rose Bowl. Iowa winning big at Michigan State today puts Iowa into the Rose Bowl against now either Washington or Washington State.
That's right.
So it's all on the line.
Next 9 minutes and 35 seconds decides who's going to be in Pasadena.
That's right. It will be the Huskies.
We have a dead ball
the Cougars.
clip against the Cougars. Be a first down.
Dead ball foul again. Now again, they moved the markers up to where the ball was originally down, then move them back 15 yards, so now it's first and 25.
There's been several of those in this game, more than I can remember dead ball fouls in a game.
Turner back to throw. Straight back. Goes deep over the middle. Almost. It is intercepted by Washington. Huskies Bill Stapleton has the football running down the sideline to the 36-yard line and out of bounds, but there's going to be a flag.
There's a flag down at the point of the interception. Let's see what happens. Turner turns the ball loose high down the middle. Stapleton made a great interception here on a deflection. Let's see what happens.
Intended for Escalera. The ball deflected into the air to Stapleton. Leapart was the man who deflected the ball to Stapleton, and Stapleton with the interception. That's his 4th of the year. But we'll see what the discussion is.
Well, it has to interference.
Now the Washington offense is coming back on the field. We had the Cougar offense out there for a moment, and we'll see what happens, see what the call is. They're moving the ball now back to the 30, inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
I believe it's clipping.
It's a clipping call, yeah.
Clip on the run back. Huskies ball.
So the interception will stand. The reason I hesitated for a moment is that Ricky Turner was still standing out there and discussing it with the official, and I thought, well, there's a possibility it could have happened prior to the interception. But no, the Huskies have the football after the turnover. Tough break for the Cougars right here. Handoff inside to Vince Kobe, and Kobe out of Tacoma fights his way straight ahead. Wilson High School of Tacoma. Vince Kobe is a story of his own, you know. 3rd down conversions. The Cougars 4 of 11, the Huskies 4 of 11. How close can you get?
Just as close as this game.
Vince Kobe got the knee broken up, you know, in spring practice a couple of springs ago, and really has never come back the way that they'd hoped he would. But now he's playing fullback instead of tailback, and he really can't play a whole football game for you. But he picks up a couple of yards there. 5, in fact. 2nd and 5 now as the clock ticks away. Huskies have the ball on their own 33. Handoff to Cookie Jackson over the right side, and not enough there to pick up the first down. Going to be 3 yards short. A short 3 or a long 2, wherever they're going to mark it. Make it 3.
That's right. Again, it's up to the Cougars now defensively to force Huskies to turn the ball back over to them. They still have time to win this football game. 8, that's a lot of time, 8 minutes, 25 seconds, if they can get the Huskies to give it back to them on this series.
It is now 3rd and 3. Wide receivers, both of them to the left side. The up back in the eye is Cookie Jackson. 3rd and 3. Handoff to Jackson. Runs to the outside. Has the first down. Up across the 35 to the 40-yard line. Cookie Jackson picking up the first down. Elisara was the man that finally made it to stop. Had to move out of the nose-back position to do it.
Well, we see Jackson make a nice cut first to the outside and then back to the inside and then slide again to the outside. He's running very well this afternoon. He can see and he's able to slide, and he's getting those good blocks from the left side.
Cookie Jackson so far in the ball game, that gives him 100 yards for the game, 15 rushes for 100 yards.
He's been a real factor here in the second half, hasn't he?
He certainly has. They said they would try the 3 tailbacks and then come up with a man that's hot. Well, they found the guy that's hot right here in Cookie Jackson. 20-10 in favor of Washington, over Washington State. Jackson with the ball to the outside. He is tripped up. He's tripped up at the 40 and fights his way ahead and just sort of dives to the 44-yard line. Elisara again, the 2-year letterman out of Samoa, making the stop, just tripping him up. So now it is going to bring up A 2nd and 6 for Washington at the 44, their own 44. Darkness beginning to settle in here at Husky Stadium.
It is getting dark out there.
It's getting awfully cold out on the field. You're going to have to sit on the hands, Jim. I formation. Hand off to Jackson ahead.
Boy, those are tough yards, Bruce. They're trying to just get first downs now and run that clock out. And Cougars are up there battling away, and it's really every inch is really hard earned.
It's now down to 3rd and a yard. 3rd and a long yard, make it 2. 6:51 to go in the ball game. So the Huskies taking all the time they can to run their plays. You'll notice that they have 25 seconds to get them off. They run it all the way down to 4 and 5 seconds.
Oh, boy.
They try to sit on the clock. 6:38 to go. 3rd down right now. 3rd and 2. And there was some movement in the Washington State line. Applause on the side of the Huskies, and Cougars jumped offside. And it's going to cost them 5 yards, and that's a Washington first down.
There was contact made there on the center, and just enough to have the official throw that flag. They were just so anxious and eager, and you try to get up and go on the ball. The Cougar defense was poised ready because
we have a dead ball, false start by the defense.
So now Washington 6 minutes and 32 seconds away from returning to Pasadena. Husky rushing total 51 carries for 260 yards so far in the ball game. So now the Huskies have it 1st and 10. They're in Washington State territory. They have the ball at the Washington State 47. The Cougars really have to dig in. They need a break right now.
Oh, a reverse.
To the outside goes Pallur, and he takes the ball down to the 42, and he's going to pick up 5 yards on the play. Mike Walker comes back to make the play along with Blakeney and Sorensen for Washington State.
We see it again here. Pallur made a nice fake in one direction and was able to come up with some key yards there.
He almost lost the football when it was hit. Almost. Sure did. We talk about the break. The Cougars need that break right now. Washington State, an excellent football team, 8-1-1 on the year.
If they can just stop the Huskies here, they still have time.
5:47 to go in the ball game. The Huskies now 2nd and 4. Hand off to Jack Robinson, who is the ball game now, the freshman out of San Jose at the tailback position. He's hit as he tries to get over the left side, and he picks up about a yard, make it 2 yards on the play. The ball now at the Washington State 40. With time running out, 5:26. The clock continues to tick away. Cougars 3 timeouts left. Washington with their 3. Now 3rd and 2 for the Huskies. The Cougars have to stop them here. Ron Jackson is back in the game along with Vince Kobe. Kobe is the fullback. 2 wide receivers split left as you see the top of your screen. The Cougars dig in. This, the big play for them with 5:06 to go in the game. That's Scansey in motion. Pitch to Jackson around the right side. They need only a couple. He's not going to get it. Hit back at the 44. Fine defensive play by Kenny Emil from the outside linebacker position, coming up to make the play. Blakeney also there. Bradley came in. Watch the play here to the outside by Ron Cookie Jackson. Good defensive play. Sorensen in with Emil to make the stop. So now it is 4th down. The Huskies have to kick it away. But again, the clock continues to tick. 4:37 to go in the ball game. And the Huskies take their time. Jeff Partridge will kick for Washington. They're still discussing exactly what they're going to do. Down to 13 seconds left on the clock. Down to 10. They're going to let the clock run down and take the 5-yard penalty. Down to 4:19 to go. Huskies just standing there letting it tick away. Down to 3.
Good move.
And they're going to take the 5-yard penalty. So the clock stops at 4:12 to go. And the Huskies now will lose 5, but it really doesn't make that much difference. I guess right now the ball's going to be moved back to the Washington State 49, and Partridge will kick it away from there.
It really doesn't, because it puts them a little further away from the goal line, and the opportunity to kick the ball high and maybe down it before it goes into the end zone.
Billy Gribble from Federal Way. Maybe we'll get a chance to run one back here. The Huskies have contained him very well so far. Partridge has done a good job kicking the football.
He's very dangerous. I know they're well aware, and one of the reasons they've kicked the ball so high is to get coverage on him.
Ball looked like it might have been partially tipped. The ball's going to bounce at the 15, gets a Husky bounce, goes inside the 10. The Huskies let it roll. It rolls all the way down to the 6. Oh, boy, I'll tell you one thing, 3:57 to go, and the Cougars now have to go 94 yards to get on the scoreboard and then get it back and kick a field goal. They are now a long way from Pasadena, and there have to be some disappointed people here. The Huskies have gotten the breaks here in the second half and put it together, and the Huskies field goal right at the end of the half really made a difference, or rather the touchdown is what I meant to say, just at the end of the half has given them a lift coming out here in the second half. The kick good for 43 yards. Back to throw. Ricky Turner looks from his own end zone. Throws going to be intercepted by Ray Horton. Horton picks it off for Washington. Ray Horton from Mount Tahoma picks up the ball, and the Huskies have the football.
Well, the Huskies haven't had a bigger interception in a long time.
Well, watch it again. Was it Horton?
Yes, number 10.
Okay, number 10, that's right.
No, sorry.
Kenny Driscoll. I thought it was 10.
I'm
Hard
sorry.
to see down there. Kenny Driscoll makes the play. So Kenny Driscoll out of Mount Tahoma. The two of them went to the same high school.
10 and 40. I could just see part of that 4.
Well, you know, Ricky Turner has to put it in the air with 3:50 to go. They have to move the ball in a hurry, and when you do that, anything can happen. Don James, you got to smile once. There's 3 minutes and 51 seconds to go. Your team's on its way to Pasadena again. Handoff straight ahead, and that's to Ron Cookie Jackson.
The yardage isn't all that important now. If the Huskies are able to come up with 1 first down here and keep the ball on this end of the field, it's a matter of possession at this point. The Cougars are going to have to start using their timeouts in about another minute and a half.
The Huskies now 2nd and 8 with 3:21 to go in the ball game. They have the ball inside the Cougar 20. Handoff to Jackson is going to be hit as he tries to get over the left side of the line, and is going to be downed at the 16. But the clock becomes the enemy now of Washington State. They know that they have to do something in a hurry.
And particularly with Nelson, the opportunity on 4th down to get 3 more points.
Washington State takes their first time out now. They have 2 left with 3:03 to play here in the football game. And we'll be back with more of the Washington State game right after this. There's the final in Los Angeles. USC 22, UCLA 21. And when they announced that score here at Husky Stadium with the Huskies leading 20-10, this place went absolutely wild. Washington now only 3 minutes and 3 seconds away from going to the Rose Bowl again. Going to the Rose Bowl for the 3rd time in the last 5 years. Handoff straight ahead, this time to Jock Robinson, the freshman from San Jose. And the Cougars quickly call time again, and only 6 seconds tick off the clock. 2:57 to go. It brings up now a 4th and 8 for Washington. So what do the Huskies do with 2:57 to go? Now, do you kick a field goal to make it 23-10?
You sure do.
Is that what you do? We'll see.
I'll say.
Steve Pelluer runs over to the sideline now. Chuck Nelson is yet to come in the ball game. Or do you run around, Jim, and you just got to run a sweep to the outside? No, you're absolutely right. Chuck Nelson's going to come in a ball game. They're going to kick one. No question about that.
Use up a little bit of time, but
not
3
enough.
more points is a lot of points at this time.
So Chuck Nelson will come in to attempt the field goal. The ball will be down at the 24-yard line. It'll be a 34-yard field goal attempt by Chuck Nelson. He's kicked 2 already today. Nelson kicking 2 today is 15 of 19 for the season. Steve Pelluer will hold. 2:57 to go. Washington 20, Washington State 10. The Huskies win. They go to the Rose Bowl. If the Cougars come back and win, they go to the Rose Bowl. I remember a game here, not too many years ago, when there was about this amount of time left on the clock, and the score was 27-14 in favor of Washington State, and the Huskies won.
They won
28-27.
They did.
The ball's down. The kick's in the air. It looks good. It is good. So the Huskies had 3 more points with 2:52 to go, and now lead Washington State 23-10, and we'll be right back. .23, Washington State 10 with 2:52 to go here in the 4th quarter. The Huskies win it, and they should now. They'll go to the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Chuck Nelson kicking the ball off. Ball's going to go out of bounds inside the 10. That'll cost Washington 5 yards, and they'll have to kick it over again. Joe Taylor just let the ball go out of bounds, as you see. The scoring drive, 4 plays. a couple of yards, 59 seconds, but the 34-yard field goal by Nelson was the key. So Nelson kicks a 34-yarder, a 28-yarder, and a 39-yarder today. For 9 points for the Huskies, they lead at 23-10. Washington and Washington State were tied 10-10 early in the third quarter. Then the Huskies put together that 28, or I should say that 80-yard drive, capped off by that 23-yard run by Cookie Jackson that made it 17-10. Nelson added a field goal to make it 20-10, and then Nelson this other field goal of 34 yards to now make it 23-10. So the Huskies now 2 minutes and 52 seconds away from going to Pasadena again, where they will meet Iowa in the Rose Bowl.
Well, we knew that those field goals would be a real factor in this ball game, and you have someone like Nelson that kicks the way he does. Earlier this fall, he tied Don Martin's record of 4 field goals in one ball game, which incidentally Martin set against the Cougars some years back for 4 field goals in one game.
The ball blows off the kicking tee. I'm not sure if somebody didn't throw an apple and hit the football. You know that? If you go back and look at that, the referee picked up an apple and threw it away, and I think somebody with the best shot in the world. You don't encourage anything like that.
No, you sure don't.
But hit the football and knocked it off the kicking tee. Now that's a first.
Boy, somebody that accurate, Mariners could use him for a pitcher.
That's right. Nelson to kick it off now. Don LeBaum back deep now for Washington State, standing on the 5-yard line. Cougars need a run back right now. This is the first time they've had a chance to run it back to the 5, the 10, straight ahead, and LeBaum over the 20 is going to be hit at the 24-yard line. So the Cougars take over their own 24. And Jim, you've been in this position where, you know, you're down in a football game and everything's riding on it. And I can remember that Washington State beat your football team over here the last time they won, 52-26. And at this point of a game with 2:47 to go and it's almost desperation time for you, it really has to take the wind out of the sails. I mean, you look around and say, we need the biggest break in the world.
Well, it does. It's awfully tough with the defense dropped off on you. They know you have to throw, and it almost has to be perfect execution here, as we see Turner
throws. It is complete, and he throws a beauty. Oh, he hit Keller with the beauty up across the 35, and they're going to mark the ball at the 37-yard line. It's going to be good enough for the first down. He picks up 12 yards in the play. Washington 23, Washington State 10, 2:38 to go in a ball game here at Husky Stadium. 1st and 10 for the Cougars of Washington State. The ball at the 37-yard line. Turner trying to beat the clock and the Huskies right now. Back to throw again. Looks outside. Throws across the field, and he picks up about 3 yards on the play. The pass complete to Escalera. That's a tough pass to throw. He threw it clear across the football field from one hash mark on this side all the way across the field.
Picked up a few yards and was able to stop the clock.
Pick up 3. Make it 2nd and 7 now with 2:30 to go.
Have their 2 receivers split wide to the wide side of the field.
The 3 wide receivers in the game right now. Gets out of the pocket. Still with the football. Still looking. Going to be trapped back there. Still with the ball. Finally throws it downfield. Almost intercepted and almost complete. The pass was knocked away as there's a flag down. The pass was intended for Keller, and it was knocked down by Mark Stewart. Oh, boy.
That was a real scramble that time.
There is a flag down, and certainly there could be a hole back there for Washington State. We'll see. The illegal receiver downfield. A discussion
kind of
up here.
Play, right.
Well, when he's running around like that, that's what happens.
Easy to have happen. But where we see the flag being thrown, I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait and see what the officials decide on. That's it.
That's what it was. The illegal receiver downfield. 2nd and 17. It's going to be declined by Washington.
We've got an ineligible man downfield on the offense. We've got pass interference on the defense. We'll replay the down. 2nd down.
We were only half right.
That's
okay.
Right.
They're going to replay the down. So now it is 2nd and 6 as they move the ball just short of the 40-yard line near the 39. Escalera went to the sidelines. Now he comes back at a ball game. He's going to bring the play in for the Cougars of Washington State with 2:17 to go, trailing the Huskies 23-10. The Huskies have beaten the Cougars 7 consecutive years, trying to make it 8 in a row. The draw play. Handoff inside to LeBomb. Good defensive play by the Huskies. So Washington makes a great defensive play. Dean Browning in at a defensive tackle position for Washington. The brother of Dave Browning, the Oakland Raiders, makes the play.
Well, they were very alert defensively because they wanted to keep the pressure on Turner, but at the same time, there was enough reaction by the front three.
Timeout for Washington State with 2:03 to play, and Washington leading 23-10. We'll be right back. We'll tell you what happened in the playback. Don James and the Huskies excited. The play broke just a moment ago, and watch what happens. This puts Washington in the Rose Bowl. Ricky Turner running to the outside. Looks. He needs about 7 yards for the first down. It's going to be hit. The ball knocked away, and it's going to be recovered by Washington. It was Lynn Matson who made the play. Matson from Vista, California, 6'4", 236-pound sophomore, making the play. 1:53 to go. No timeouts for Washington State. Cougar fans are going to be very, very disappointed, as you might guess, because this is an outstanding Washington State football team. They have come a long way to be 8-1-1 coming into this game. Ranked 12th in one poll, 14th in another. But Washington pulls the upset really here today. Stephen Derrick now in a quarterback for the Huskies. Handoff over the center of the line to Brennan DeFeo, and DeFeo fights his way just for a couple of yards.
Another flag down.
Yeah, that's the only thing really that can stop the clock. That's Mike Lude on the left, the athletic director of Washington. Ray Dorr, the quarterback coach, standing just to his left along with Don James. So the Huskies are so serious over there, you'd think they'd be smiling here one of these times. They lead.
They don't want. There'll be a lot of smiles when the final gun goes off.
Oh, you know what that's like. You kind of let the
too many things can happen.
Have to keep it in mind. You turn it over right now, a quick touchdown, who knows? The Cougars, they still have a chance. They're still in the ball game if they can just get a break here, but they need one. The Huskies, they're excited now because here's a team that everybody said had no offense at all. Here's a football team that said we're only going to live by our defense, and they're going to finish 9-2 this year, and they're going to finish 6-2 in the conference, and they're going to win the conference championship again and go to the Rose Bowl. That's
right.
Hard to believe. Great coaching job by Don James.
Outstanding by Coach James and his staff.
Handoff straight ahead to Derrick, Stephen Derrick. He picks up only a couple of yards in the play, down to 1:31 to go. You see the Cougar side of the field. They have to be awfully disappointed. Rumor around is that they will go to the Bluebonnet Bowl. They lose here today, but they knew in their hearts that they had to win this one, and they felt that they would and go to the Rose Bowl for the first time in 51 years. But the Huskies would not be denied today. Huskies came out in the second half and have played excellent football in the second half. The Cougars have scored only 3 points in the second half. The Huskies come back and score 13. Exactly 1 minute to play. Jock Robinson, the freshman from San Jose, takes the ball now for a first down to the 35.
You made it. Looks very close, but I don't even think they'll measure.
Robinson gets the first down. 51 seconds to go. Husky fans on their feet now. Listen to this. What all that is about is that they just placed up on the scoreboard a Washington win over Washington State, a Southern California win over UCLA. That's what happened today. Puts Washington into the Rose Bowl. 30 seconds to go. 29 seconds. Hand up to Jock Robinson over the right side. He just dives ahead to run down the clock. 21 seconds. 20. A disappointed group of Washington State Cougars and a very happy group of Washington Huskies. He wanted to go to the Rose Bowl, he said, this year, and he's going to get his wish. 8 seconds to go.
Well, just run
Here
out.
come the Huskies on the field. It will be Washington against Iowa on the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. The Huskies of the University of Washington scoring 13 points in the second half. A couple of field goals by Chuck Nelson and a key 23-yard touchdown run by Cookie Jackson to beat the Washington State Cougars here this afternoon by a score of 23-10 and win themselves a trip to Pasadena on New Year's Day. How about that, Jim Owens?
Oh, what excitement. What a great thrill for those Huskies that are down there on the field, and the coaches and everybody that's followed them all year, because it has been quite a season. Some ups and downs, but they rose to the occasion in the last 2 weeks. They had to beat both SC and Washington State to get here, and they had to have some help from USC to knock off UCLA, and it turned out that way. And That's what it's all about.
I'll tell you something. If you're a Cougar, you have to be disappointed, naturally, because you've got an outstanding football team, a great football team. And you end up going 8-2-1, and you're going to go to a bowl game this year.
That's right.
And
they certainly deserve a bowl. They certainly deserve all the credit that they have been able to receive this year.
And one of the most difficult things to do is to walk out in the field and shake the hands of somebody that is an arch rival like that, who has just defeated you and knocked you out of that dream of going to Pasadena on New Year's Day.
Particularly difficult for the seniors on the Washington State team, because this was their opportunity to beat Washington. They haven't while they've been there at Pullman, and this looked like their best shot, of course, and their last shot, the seniors.
So Don James, with another marvelous coaching job here this afternoon, defeats Washington State as the Huskies win it by a score of 23-10, and the Washington Huskies win a spot against the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. And we'll be back with the final comments right after this.
Sears is having a famous...
So it'll be Washington against Iowa in the Rose Bowl. The Huskies defeating the Washington State Cougars 23-10 here this afternoon at Husky Stadium. And oh, what a football game it was. Did you think it would end up this way in this kind of game?
Well, I didn't think there would be quite this much spread in the final quarter. I thought that it would be much closer. It might come down to a field goal right at the end of the game or a two-pointer. But it was a beautiful ball game. Both teams played as hard as they could play.
Turnovers played a big part in this ball game. And again, is it because of the excitement of the moment you see, the kind of day it was, or anything else? Because the Cougars with turnovers, the Huskies with turnovers, both teams hurt by turnovers today. The Huskies able to take advantage and score.
Well, the teams were excited, and there was a lot of outstanding hitting on the part of both of the defensive units. And I do think that backs were trying so hard that they sometimes just wouldn't have quite as good a control of the ball, and it was mostly the running backs that let the ball get away from them.
You look at the scoring in the football game as we watch the Washington band down there. You know what they were playing just a moment ago when we were in the commercial? The USC fight song. And for good reason, because USC had to defeat UCLA. They did it. They came up with a touchdown late in the ball game, and at the same time, they blocked a field goal that would have won it for UCLA late in the ball game. So USC wins 22-21. Washington wins 23-10 here today. Washington scored first. Nelson, a 39-yard field goal. Martin came back with a 6-yard run by Washington State to put the Cougars on top by a score of 7-3. Then an outstanding pass from Pallure to Scansey, an 18-yard toss, puts Washington on top with 8 seconds to go in the half to put the Huskies on top 10-7. And from then on, well, it looked like Washington really took control of the ball game. All of the Cougars came out. They stayed on the ground, drove the length of the field, settled for a 27-yard field goal to tie it 10-10. But the key part of the ball game was at that time, the Huskies drive the length of the field, 80 yards to score. And that play was Cookie Jackson's 23-yard run, and that made it 17-10. The Huskies get a turnover, turn it into a field goal, go up then 20-10, turn another turnover by Washington State into another field goal to make it 23-10 to win it and win a spot in the Rose Bowl. Some kind of game.
It was a beautiful game. I think you're right on the long drive and the touchdown. Really swung the momentum around there in the third quarter. And that Huskies were able to stay strong enough, I think, all through the fourth quarter.
Well, one of the nice things about this is the feeling that Washington State's going to be able to go somewhere. The feeling around here, even though that they were knocked out of the Rose Bowl today, and if you're a Cougar fan, that's really disappointing, believe me, because they're a great, great football team. They have played very, very well today. And you can see Husky fans, they have to celebrate because no one would ever believe that they would get here. Don James did a job this year, didn't he? With his people say no offense.
Well, they thought no offense, but a certain number of games, they certainly came through in the clutch when they had to. And if you only make 10 yards and win the game, you have a fine offense.
Hey, we give a lot of credit to Jim Walden at Washington State. Now we're going to go to the Washington locker room, and we'll have more from Husky Stadium right after this. Well, the mystery is all clear now. All the speculation about what was going to happen, and there were 9 different ways this Pac-10 season could end, and 9 different combinations of things could happen here today to put a team into the Rose Bowl. And so now it's going to be Washington against Iowa. The Huskies won, and USC won. 3 weeks ago, when Washington played UCLA and got beat in Los Angeles by a score of 31-0, you couldn't get a bet on the West Coast or anywhere in the country that Washington would end up in the Rose Bowl.
It was the real low spot for the Huskies to have that good a ball club and really played well on defense and just kill themselves with turnovers deep in their own territory. But they were able to show in those last 2 weeks what they're really capable of doing. And it's a great compliment to the staff and the players to win it the way that they won it.
As you watch the Cougar band, as the Cougar and the Husky bands are entertaining in the field here, as a crowd of over 60,000 leaves a darkened Husky Stadium, knowing that Washington's on its way to Pasadena, that Washington State also, we hope, and we haven't heard officially, will be getting a bowl bid to play, thought to be the Bluebonnet Bowl. Rushing for Washington in the game, the leading rusher for Washington came off the bench, and that's Cookie Jackson, 106 yards, his 23-yard touchdown run, the key in the ball game as far as Washington's concerned, because that put him up 17-10.
I think so. I think his running was the real boost that Washington had to have.
Jock Robinson, just short of 100 yards, finished with 93. And Sterling Hines with 25. For Washington State, you look at their stats right now. Harris with 53, Williams with 51. But again, both of them shaken up in the ball game, injured. They lose Casper early in the game. That had to hurt. It was all on the shoulders of Ricky Turner, and that gets to be difficult.
Well, it is. When you lose 3 key players, even for a short time or for most of the ball game, offensively, it just took an awful lot out of their attack.
Paul Scansey for Washington, a key catch with 8 seconds to go in the half for a touchdown, an 18-yarder. Finishes with 3 catches for 34 yards. Now, this is what we've been waiting for. Let's go to the Washington locker room now.
First of all, for winning the Apple Cup, you won it very decisively today. And secondly, I want to present you the Apple Cup. Secondly, the entire state is confident that come New Year's Day in the Rose Bowl, you're going to show it again. Congratulations and best of luck.
Give him dirty sweet, dog. It's ours again.
The Huskies win the Apple Cup for the 8th straight year. Don James, a marvelous victory for you today. Your impressions of it?
Well, it's a great victory for these guys in here. They're the ones that did all the work, and it's almost incredible to believe that we're going to get an opportunity to go back to the Rose Bowl, and everybody's obviously very excited.
They say the 3rd time's a charm, and you're going back.
Well, let's hope we can get it done.
Now, the second half, you guys really opened it up on offense. What happened there?
Well, we've got some confidence in our offense, and I think the fact that they came back and drove the ball, we had to get back and play some offense.
Some tough D going on in there, too.
That was a very good hitting game.
Are you pleased?
Very pleased. Thanks, all right.
Mark Giroux with me now. Mark, you say you get up for the big games. This was one of them, and I'm sure you got to be just tickled pink.
Yeah, we are. We couldn't wait for the end of the season, and, it's a great game of the Cougars. I can't believe a rival game came down to the last game of the season for the Rose Bowl. And we are just excited. This place can't believe it.
Fletcher Jenkins, you're holding a big fat trophy. It's the 8th year in a row you've won it. I mean, it's got to be a happy time for you.
It's the most happiest I ever been in a long time. And I just thank God for all the guys on the team and that nobody got seriously injured. And it's a happy feeling because my dad's going to get another watch from the Rose Bowl, and I got one too. I'm just happy.
Yeah, that's all right. Tell me about it out there in the trenches. What was it like?
It was tough in the trenches. They was at my knees a lot today, and they were doing a lot of cut blocking and trying to keep me out of my game. But otherwise, they were a good team, and I just thank God that we won the game and we're going back to Pasadena again.
On to Pasadena, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Should be a fun time down there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
No fun being home for Christmas.
No way.
All right, let's go over and talk to Boots Carter. Boots, you're hugging that trophy off the heart.
This trophy's going home with me. They're going to have to fight me to take it from me.
Yeah, it's quite a game. I mean, you as a senior coming in here, knowing how much this game meant, you respected the Cougars, but you went out there and did the job.
It means a lot to me. I can't even express. I haven't even thought about it yet. I mean, the Rose Bowl for the 2nd time in a row. I've been to 3 Rose. This has been my 3rd Rose Bowl, and I got to give credit to SC. They gave it to us, and we went out and took it from them. What can you say?
What can you say, except it's going to be an awfully good time in Pasadena. Vince Kobe, you played your last game in Husky Stadium here. Your thoughts on all that went on today?
It ended up fun. It's the thing where, you come to Washington, you're forced into the rivalry with Washington State, and you never want to lose that, that Apple Cup game, and it's just fun to end up winning like this, and winning my 3rd Rose Bowl also.
I hear that. Congratulations to you. Good luck down in Pasadena. Well, that's the locker room here. As you might expect, there's just a lot going on, cheering. Everybody came in saying roses, 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 and that's exactly what they're going to get on New Year's Day when they take on Iowa. It's just really neat down here. It's the Huskies. They did it. It's 8th year in a row they've done it. So what else can you say? Bruce, let's go back to you for a minute, and then we'll come back here and see if we can get a hold of Steve.